Have you ever thought of a raiding party of Sohagin, or stared down the vertical eyes of an obelisk? If not, then likely you have never met the mighty Tritons, the proud protectors of the deepest sea of Domaris. My tribe, the Nalos, were the first of their kind to leave the elemental plane of water to fight against the aquatic monstrosities here on the prime material plane. My name is Proximus Midnight, Knight of the Mid-Seas. The Midnight Order are sworn defenders of the oceans, protecting the surface from what lies beneath. Recently, I have been chosen by my kingdom to become the 56th Royal Arbiter of Ula Saltsmile, the great Queen Mother of the Nalos. This is the highest honor a knight can achieve. For the glory of the great Queen Mother, for my people, the Nalos, and for the Knights of the Mid-Sea, I fight the greatest evil, smite the wicked, and exterminate my foes. If the enemies of the great Queen Mother wreak ruin on this world, I have no qualms in eradicating them by any means necessary. Secretly, and do not tell anyone, I am very excited to finally be allowed to journey to the surface. I cannot wait for the adventures that await me.
To those of Domaris, the merfolk who live under the waves are just like those who breathe air. Most see them as a sign of good luck and fortune with their beauty and kindness. They are the angels of the seas. But the oceans aren't always so kind. On those perfect nights, when the storms rage against the waves and the world is full of chaos, beings of absolute powers are born. The merfolk call them sirens, and the only difference shown on the surface is their eyes. A siren's eyes churn like the storm-raged waves they're born of. When a siren comes into existence, they are forced to live in exile as the merfolk fear their power. Scarlet Shores grew up not knowing love or family. Her only desire was to be desired. By anyone. It wasn't until being captured and hauled onto the ship where she met Eula's hot smile, a notorious sea hag, that Scarlet held a place in the world. With the pack sealed, Scarlet soon climbed her way through the ranks, quickly becoming the sea hag's favorite. It was no secret to anyone in the Hags League. Though, Scarlet keeps plenty of secrets and will often trade for them. So, tread carefully and always keep your eyes on me. If you don't, I may very well take them. Talk back, and your tongue will be mine too.
Hey, how are the stars tonight? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Most people don't expect someone my size to move so quietly. I do have 2 left feet. Hooves, after all. Anyway, mind if I join you for a bit? This is the best place to look at the stars on the ship besides the crow's nest, and I can't get up there due to the ladder and all. Also, I don't think the crew would appreciate having a centaur up there and getting in the way. So, do you travel to the north often? I hear there are beautiful dancing lights in the sky up in this direction. You never see that in populated areas. The buildings tend to block out the skies and stars. Not completely, of course, unless you're under the earth or water, but enough to dull the awe-inspiring effect it tends to have. Oh, by the way, did you know the stars are actually made of magic? I drove my dads to frustration when I was a foal, begging them to tell me the story of their creation every night. They're made from the power of the gods who made the gods. Isn't that amazing? Some people think they just left or were killed, leaving nothing behind. But I think it's much more interesting to believe that their sprinkled essence in that black blanket of a sky continues to observe this flooded world. And then, when a star falls, a bit of that power finds its way to Domaris. Sorry, I didn't mean to go all romantic on you. Oh, my name? Don't you worry about it. We won't be seeing each other again. And if we do, I'll try not to startle you next time, but no promises.
Oh, hey there. It's me, Winnie. Nobody calls me Benora except me mums, and if you were one of them, I wouldn't need to introduce myself. Well, and Eula does, I guess. And sometimes, you know what? You can call me whichever. They're both me. I'm just waiting here for the tides to shift and my next adventure to begin. You could argue life itself is an adventure, and I would say you're right. But also I mean an actual adventure. Mostly I do reclamation, searching the sunken cities for relics and forgotten memories. Some of these I keep, some I give away, some I return to those folk who lost them. Sure, I could tell you what I'm looking for at the moment, but I think I've learned my lesson about that. You'll probably hear about it next time I'm in the fen anyway. Not that it's important, or direct from Eula herself or anything. I didn't say that. The point is, there's a great big ocean full of all sorts of stuff. Some of it has sharp teeth, and worse, maybe, but the good stuff? It's magical, and I wouldn't trade any of it for the safety of the surface. So I'll be back. Hard to say when. You know how the winds are, but you can bet I'll be back.
The waves crash on the beach of an endless sea. You hear a voice you have heard so many times before. The horizon. She calls to you. She sings of endless wonders and innumerable horrors, of hopeful promises and dire warnings. And you feel her song. It was always there. Listen. Do you hear it? The wind is in your favor. The tide is rising. The sea is yours for the taking, and your ship awaits. Fair winds and following seas, brave mariner. May fortune find you when the horizon calls.
Ahoy and welcome everyone to Horizon's Call, an oceanic campaign set in the homebrew world of Damaris. I am your DM, Derek Sword. I am joined, as always, by these very lovely folk who I'm going to have introduce themselves in just a moment. But before that, I want to tell you all about St. Jude, because here on the Hvitur channel for the entire month of May, we are raising money for St. Jude. So if you are not familiar, it is a wonderful organization which helps kids mostly with, primarily with pediatric oncology, childhood cancer. And they do that for the most part with zero cost to the families and the kids themselves. It's an amazing program, and as the Hvitur channel is a member of Team SideQuest. All of Team SideQuest is raising money for this amazing cause. So, that said, we absolutely appreciate any donations, any and all money you can give. And there's also some incentives should you want to give, should you be able to. We have already hit a couple of the milestones. We have hit the $200 milestone for the Sunken RPG giveaway. Earlier today, we hit the $350 milestone. So Eva will do a Lady Dimitrescu cosplay stream. And we are coming up on the $500 giveaway milestone for Call of the Sea giveaway. So Call of the Sea RPG game giveaway. There are incentives. So you donate $5, you get your name on the thank you wall, a little heart shape right behind the very lovely Eva. For $15, you get a thank you postcard. For $50, you can contribute an NPC or magic item to an upcoming game, including Horizon's Call. For $100, you get a terrible / not actually that bad animal drawing drawn by the lovely Eva. And for $500, the incredible Eva will DM a TTRPG one-shot for you. So there are definitely some great stuff, some great incentives to giving, as well as it just being a great cause. And along with all of that stuff, you can even affect the game here. Any and all money given to the channel is going to St. Jude throughout the month. So you can also donate and do subscriptions and all that kind of stuff to give advantages and crits to individuals in the group. That is all listed in the chat. You can check out the specifics there. And then two other things. One of them I'm a little more hesitant about, but I'll tell you the first one. First one, for a $30 donation, no subscriptions, no anything else, $30 donation strictly, you can add a complication to this game. It's called a black spot. It is a hindrance, a barrier of sorts that will be added to the game as I will rule as the DM.
We did just get one.
Wonderful, perfect. I've got just the thing.
When did we get one?
Just now, apparently. It has been things in the past like a crewmate has been a wereshark, or there has been a magical storm. Bad stuff happens. It's not lethal stuff. I mean, as long as the party plays it smart, and so far they have. The other thing, for a $45 donation, which is different for the month of May, and also different because I do have a cold today. But hey, I will still do it because I'm that kind of person. For a $45 donation, I will sing a sea shanty at break, so that we're not interrupting the flow of the show or whatever else. But I do have sea shanties prepared. If you would like to hear my summer cold voice sing a sea shanty, I am more than happy to do so. So with all of that said, once again, welcome to Horizon's Call. We have a recap prepared by the wonderful Kaila, but before any of that, I'm going to have these people introduce themselves, these incredible cast. So if we would like to start with the top left with the effervescent mayor.
Hi, I'm Mare. I am playing Acacia, your lovely, lovely centaur rogue.
Thank you, Mayor. Next up, Mikyl.
Hi, all. I'm playing Proximus, your Triton Paladin slash Sorcerer.
Thank you, Mikyl. And as always, a thank you to Mikyl for doing the amazing character art. You might notice the incredible character art for Acacia, which I'm so in love with. Check out those guns. It's incredible. Each and every one of the characters is so well detailed. If you take a close look at any of them, I mean, even with Winnie, with all of her little instruments and everything, Mikyl puts a lot of love into his work. So if you are looking for character art, check out his Twitter. We'll do all our plugs at the end, but I always like to throw an extra thank you out there. Next up, Kaila.
Hi, I'm Kaila. I play our Siren Warlock, Scarlet Shores.
Thank you, Kaila. And last but not least, the person without whom we would not be here, Eva.
It's me, Eva. I am playing your Sea Elf Artificer today, Winnie.
Thank you, Eva. All right. And like I said, we do have a recap prepared. So, Kaila, if you would like to take us away.
Yeah. So, as our party concluded last session, Scarlet would have written in her tome to update Eula on what had happened. She would have foregone formalities and just started with, Eula, when you told us this prison was difficult, didn't quite believe you. We managed to get in with the help of a new friend. We managed to forge papers and deceive the guards. Your paladin warrior is more deceiving than you could have thought, considering, the title. So we broke in under secret. I was being quote-unquote turned in for my crimes against the Empire. We managed to grab a little gold on the way. Apparently my bounty was quite the price. While Proximus and I took care of the whole bounty and sneaking into the Praetor's office, Winnie and our new friend took to finding the person holding what we've been searching for. The last piece. The Praetor wasn't much of a challenge. But I do have a list of names that you might be interested in. But long story short, Proximus and I made it out of the office unscathed. While Winnie and our new friend Acacia, she quite good with explosives. A little bit of magic and a little the practical uses of an explosive. They managed to find who we were looking for, along with other prisoners that we let free. We made it out. I don't know if any guards actually survived. But who cares at this point, because we brought down the whole prison, Eula. This party brought down it, and it no longer exists. They have nowhere to keep us anymore. For the time being, until they figure something else out. We're good as gold. We have the prisoner, we have the item. When he shrunk a whole mech with the person inside of it. She might not be as golden-hearted as you thought. But we made it out. I have the list I will inscribe when I have more time. But the prison is in the ocean. We have all 3 pieces that you're looking for. What is our next step? Sincerely, Scarlet.
All right, wonderful. Well, with that, we're going to pick up with the party. Yes, you have literally made a prison break and broken the prison. I am still in awe is the nicest way to say it. Yet you took a landmark, a massive tower of ice and iron, and you collapsed it, as well as the ice shelf that it was sitting on top of. You essentially just broke apart an iceberg with a Warforged Titan. So now we find the party. It is probably nearing dawn at this point, because you had made the assault in the middle of the night. So as you are traveling west, the sun is rising behind you. It's still freezing, even at noon, it would still be freezing. It's at least not blinding against the snow. Proximus, you are on the sled, led by the team of dogs. Acacia, you have your adopted father, Curio. Winnie, you are in a Warforged Titan, a huge-sized mech, and Scarlet, you are riding in one of the shoulder stations of that mech, along with your 6.9 thousand, your 69,000 gold pieces. Look at you. Nice.
Perfect number. Can we get some nice in chat?
Get some nice in chat. So you all, I'm assuming, are heading back to the Goliath encampment. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Chip also is the name of the Titan.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Chip
the Titan.
I love it. Also, we do have to go back to the Goliath village, because I believe Winnie was promised a ride on a polar bear.
That was
If
true.
I'm remembering correctly.
If we returned the dog safe and sound, I believe that was the promise.
Yes. So you all begin your way back to Hvitur, which is the name of the Goliath town, which somehow I'm able to do better with a cold, God knows why. So Hvitur, to remind you, was more of like a fishing village than anything else. And you do remember it took you several hours to travel across the tundra to get to Bleak Watch. So the Warforged Titan, let me check the speed on that.
Chip.
I apologize. I should address the Titan by its name. Yeah. Okay. Oh, God, why did I let you have that? 40-foot speed. Okay. So Chip is going to be a little bit slower than the dogs, but that's not the worst thing in the world. You're at least, Winnie is warm inside. Scarlet, you're at least dressed in your winter furs and everything else, so you're not no more exposed than you would be on the dog sled. Acacia, you're familiar that Curio, while they're able to sense temperature difference, doesn't necessarily affect them because they are warforged, or another term used in Damaris is ironbound. Because Curio isn't just warforged. They didn't just gain sentience. Curio is a little different, which you would know. Yes, Scarlett, you also do have the list. It is 30 names of individuals who were particularly sought out by the ward. Not necessarily all of the most wanted individuals, but at least the most wanted individuals at Bleak Watch. So you begin traveling back. The dog team enjoying their ride across the tundra, barking fervently with Proximus as you urge them on. Acacia, pretty much able to keep up with them as well, especially with your horsey leg warmers. And Winnie and Scarlet may be trailing behind a little bit, but a few hours go by without severe incident. The sun has risen more and more behind you to where it's low in the sky but is crested over the horizon. And as morning begins to break in sincerity, you arrive back to Hvitur, just as some of the Goliaths are starting to come out of their tent for the first time in the morning. You see smoke kind of streaming from the holes in several of the tents as well. What would you all like to do?
Especially like as they're getting closer, like within view, Winnie would like open up the top to be like non-threatening. Like she wants to make it as like, because they probably are not on friendly terms with these Warforged Titans. And
yeah, you can see that as you're approaching, some of them do start reaching for their weapons, but then as the mech kind of pops open and you make a massive metallic hand wave, just going full Iron Giant with it. A few of them just kind of just tilt their heads and just start shaking. Just okay.
And would Proximus know where the where Gramnir's tent would be, like to take the?
You would actually,
like
you would see, yeah, Thrimnir would be one of the first up and about. So you can actually see that he's going to tend to the polar bears. He's going to give the polar bears their morning breakfast, which is a bloody affair. But certainly, yeah, you do kind of, you are able to identify him. I should have mentioned this before. Thrimnir, being the chief of this village, actually does wear mammoth tusks, almost as like a sort of headdress around the back, which kind of identifies him a little bit different from the other ones. And yeah, you can see that there's, in addition to kind of reiterate, there's mammoths a little bit further out, further away from the polar bears. You can hear barking from some of the dog kennels further in as well. And yeah, a number of tents, including the very large central tent. But yeah, you can see Thrimnir, and his eyes kind of catch all of you, and his arms just go wide, and as he does, a little bit of blood splatters from the raw meat he was about to feed the polar bears. But hey, you made it.
Pop, we are back, Pop.
Oh, my sweet boy.
we made it, and there is no other prison there anymore. Just, I hope that doesn't affect your village too much.
Did you make it disappear?
You can say something like that. It is no longer there.
Oh. It's probably for best. And I see you found a metal man. Two metal men.
Yes. You were very correct about the squishies inside them. It was much like a surprise when we saw how small they were inside. So thank you for that information.
And he's going to kind of gesture to Curio. Is this one of their children?
No. I will let you introduce. He can introduce himself. I don't know where he is from, but he was released along with the rest of them. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
So everyone who was in the prison is out.
We did see some of your kind. I hope they made it back safely.
It's probably not a big deal. I mean, what could be the worst thing about releasing over 100 criminals into the icy tundra? We will be fine. If they steal this or that, it is no big deal. I sure hope none of them were fond of arson.
We figured you could handle it.
I don't remember anyone of that nature.
I'm not
Do
going
I
to make
have
you
to
roll
do a
deception.
deception check?
No. That will add nothing to the story. No, it is fine. The red-headed one makes good point. We are good at handling things. It is probably for the best that you did this on your own. And we ended up dealing with our problem on our own as well. And, he gestures towards the south where the shore would be. He had indicated to you previously that they would, in exchange for helping them with the problem, they would send some of their soldiers with you. You chose to decline, but it looks like they solved their problem themselves. And their problem was they were having some sort of thing was breaking through the ice and taking their fishing boats. And you can see these 20 Goliaths carrying on poles this very long, almost giant eel-like creature, almost, like 50 feet long, with this massive mouth that's kind of hanging open with all these serrated teeth. And this creature in particular is not something from the D&D books. It is something from... shoot, I can't remember its name. I'll get back to you. But it is called an icebreaker. Cowwood Press, that's what it is. And they're starting to release a couple of books lately, including one which has some kind of tundra-like creatures. So an icebreaker is... I'm going to show you this thing. It's a huge monstrosity. It's got a bunch of little eyes on it, and it's like a big old snaky boy. It's really scary. It eats boats and whatnot. So you avoided that, but it looks like the Goliath were able to pull this thing up and are now bringing it back to eat. Well, it looks like you all were successful. You brought dogs back. I appreciate that. And I believe we had a deal.
Yeah, we did.
All right,
Please
then.
entertain her. This is all she's been talking about.
I mean, that and blowing up the prison, but mostly the dogs. Mostly the bears.
Let's not say that we blew up the prison.
What was I supposed to say we did with the prison?
We just dismantled it.
Dismantled the prison. But okay. Look. Threibnir. I'm doing that off memory. Please tell me that's your name.
It is correct.
Oh, God. I would like to strike a deal.
Okay. What is deal?
Okay? Perfect. Deal's a deal.
No. What is...
I was thinking, I can't take Chip back to the ship with me. And she's gonna, slap the, shoulder part of this Titan. Probably a little too hard, might sting her hand a little bit. And I was thinking we could just, loan him to you for a bit, right? You could probably find a use for him, like dragging that thing further up the shore. Go a lot faster.
You are not wrong. What,
I know.
what do you want?
This is
in
what they
exchange?
call, in the know, bargaining from a position of power, I'm pretty sure.
She's learning fast. I give it to her.
You give me Metal Man. What do you want in exchange?
Okay, first, I would like Honey, our shift cook, to if we could replenish our stores and stuff at a very reasonable price. She'll know if it's not reasonable. That would be super great. I was gonna get to ride the polar bears. I don't suppose there's any chance I could take a little polar bear with us.
Winnie,
She's
no.
studiously not looking at Scarlet, like refusing to make eye contact.
Winnie, you have the Tressums. And the Proximus. You're good.
And Proximus? What does that mean? Wait a minute.
He seems to be your keeper.
Okay, not a polar bear, but
I tell you what, you can have polar bear cub in exchange for blue child man.
No.
he's pretty useful.
The blue one stays with us.
Proximus, you don't want to stay here, do you?
Winnie, we're not taking a polar bear.
I mean, if you wanted to, I'm not gonna stop him.
How would you feed it on the ship, Winnie?
How do we feed Proximus? Honey.
A polar bear
Oh,
eats
eats a lot of
significantly
honey.
more than Proximus does. Proximus
How
takes
am I
care of
bargaining
himself.
right now? Oh, do I get any say in this?
No.
I asked if
I
you
will
wanted
make
to
it
stay.
back and visit. I will visit anytime, Pop. Anytime you need. But I'm not going to stay here.
Okay, look. Let's go for a polar bear ride first, and then we can work out the rest of the details.
What else do you want in exchange besides food?
Oh gosh. Chip's pretty big. Do any of you need anything? I don't want to be greedy here.
What about an alliance with Blackfin?
Uh-oh. I mean, I guess.
Is that person, place, thing?
It's a place. You would be in alliance with Eula Sotsmile.
Is she nice?
Not really.
About as nice as I am.
Oh.
Or you could be like our friends.
I already thought I was.
Well, right, but like
This would be more of a
formally.
contracted friendship.
We don't have use for contracts. It's fine. If you just want to give me Big Metal Man for food, that is more than a fair deal. We will just resupply your ship as you need.
Or
And a puppy.
Or if the Empire tries to make another prison here, just get rid of them.
Okay, that's a good one.
Easy enough. It was harder to do when they were already here, but now that we are here first,
Queensland?
second but first.
You're not top dog around here. Do with that as you will.
Scarlet, he's a person. They're the dogs. She's gonna point at the huskies.
I did realize you cannot talk to the dogs. They don't talk back, at least. They bark at
It
me.
does not stop you from talking to them.
Yes,
Hey, look.
exactly.
You are a very good boy. And one of the dogs just sits and starts wagging. Eh?
Ah, I understand now. Thank you, Pop.
You don't need to have something talk back to you for it to be a good conversation. Sometimes it just makes you feel good.
Sometimes you don't want people to talk back at all.
When you
But
take
what
their
fun
time.
is
Everyone
that?
looks at Winnie.
Winnie's just looking at the dogs and the bears. Polar bears.
So we have a deal. Winnie gets to pet and play with the polar bears for a little bit. We get restocked on our supplies and food. And you take care of the Empire when they come back, if they come back, and you can have our metal friend here.
Is deal.
But if I come back, I get to like make sure he's in good working order and like take him out for a spin and stuff.
Is fine.
Yes. Ha.
And Scarlet will hold out her hand to shake on it.
Give a big old Goliath shake back.
Come to start holding
Just,
it.
yeah, and
Thinking all this is the best business deal that ever has been struck, Winnie's gonna start clambering out of the Titan, and she's going to shout down, "Hey, catch!" And she's just gonna drop her bag, and then Jeffrey Jr. Did I actually call him Jeffrey Jr.? Jeffrey the Second? who I believe can fly. So he's
Your homunculus, yes, your homunculus servant can fly.
my little were
Your
shark
weird little street
homunculus.
shark can fly.
Yeah, so he's just gonna like kind of spiral down, float down, and then she's going to scramble down and then jump the rest of the way.
Who are you saying catch to? Who is catching your stuff?
Do you think she's specifying?
No one has caught you. Is anyone trying to catch Winnie's stuff?
I don't expect anyone to.
Yeah, no one has caught Winnie's stuff.
Just clangs on the ground.
To the polar bears.
You can come with me. The one person. The rest of you, please make use of communal tents. We are having mammoth tusk and whatever the hell that thing was that we brought in, but it seems edible.
Scarlett's gonna go find a drink.
Okay. So Scarlett's heading off to the communal tent. Winnie is going to ride a polar bear. Proximus and Acacia, what are you two doing?
I think I would like to talk to Thramnir and find out more about the Empire.
Okay, so yeah, you can go with
As
Winnie and him.
Yeah.
I would have broken apart from the group before that whole conversation, hence why I was so quiet.
Okay.
And I would have gone back to the tent I had before if it was still open, and if it wasn't open, I would have gotten a private tent again back towards the edge of the village, settled down, and had a nice old chit chat with Pops.
Okay. We will do that in just a moment. Let's address. So, Scarlett, you go to the communal tent and get a drink. Are you doing anything there besides just keeping warm?
Finding a warm spot and drinking because this was a lot.
It certainly was. Okay. Winnie and Proximus. Thrymanir takes you a little further out. Like I said, he was going to feed the polar bears anyway, so he has almost a trough of just raw, bloody red meat that he was taking over to the polar bears anyway. And he takes you over to where they're kind of just... a lot of them are armored, which I had mentioned before. Some of them do have saddles. Some of them are just kind of like have sort of a harness sort of around their face. It's almost like a horse bridle. And each of them are kind of staked to the ground. They don't seem to be fighting too much. They seem to be waiting on their food, somewhat domesticated. It is probably best if you let the polar bears eat their breakfast before you give them a ride. That way you do not become their breakfast. They are not picky with what they eat.
Winnie just like sits down in front of like, so the trough is like between her and she's not gonna like get in the way of any and just like watch them. While Proximus and Thrymanir talk about whatever.
Pop, I do have some questions about the Empire.
Okay.
You said that they were here first before you came and established this village, correct?
In this current village, believe whatever that place has been here for thousands of years. Was.
Yes, and the best, the less you know, the better. Trust me. The Empire, what are they made of? Like, I am unfamiliar with the Empires and what they stand for. What is it that they want? How did they become an empire in the first place?
I wish I could be more specific. I am not really sure. We don't typically mess with the politics of those to the south. The Empire, as I understand it, has lots of land, lots of people. They all tend to dress the same, talk the same, and they don't like anyone who doesn't dress the same or talk the same. They don't really like outliers. We are outliers. They have never been fans of us, but have never tried to make us like them. They have more tried to get rid of us. Unsuccessfully, fortunately. But they've never tried that hard. From the people we have encountered from the Empire, they have been hostile, rude, just not great people. I assume what makes them powerful is the same thing that makes everyone powerful. Influence, numbers, money. I wish I could tell you more than that, but like I said, we don't go south. The Goliath have always tried to live in the north, away from the problems and concerns that all the people of the south seem to be so worried about.
Yeah. So when you say that they don't like anyone that doesn't look like them, they would not like anyone like me.
Maybe. It depends on how much you want to be like them.
Interesting. Thank you. Would you, if you were to define them as evil or good, how would you define them?
That is a tough question to ask a person. To make an entire group of people into a single category is perhaps not fair. I think that they do the best for what they think is the best. Is it what I agree with? No. Would they call me evil? Maybe. But I won't do the same. I think they are misguided. But there's too many of them for them all to be evil. That is the most dangerous thing.
To group them together.
To group any number of people into a single category is just... it's unfair. It's dangerous.
I'm learning these things. Thank you. I'll keep that.
You will learn. You are still growing, boy. We will get you food soon.
One day I'll get there, Pop. Thank you.
You will. Food and meat. It make someday you will be 7 foot tall, just like Threadnear.
I will get both. I will go over and I will go back to the joint tent to get both of those things. Thank you, Pop. I'll see you later.
Okay. And then he is going to walk over to Winnie and kind of kneel down. So Winnie, you're like sitting just a little bit away from the polar bears. That one right there, he's going to point to one of the polar bears with kind of an ornate set of armor, just like around the face, the back. It has actually a pretty decent sized sitting, like not even necessarily a saddle, but it almost has like a back to it as well. So it is supported. That is my polar bear. Her name is Scotty. She is very smart and very powerful. I will let you ride her. You must be very careful. You must keep all of your limbs, whatever. Keep everything away from her mouth.
That seems fair. I wouldn't want anything near my mouth.
You are very wise. Okay, then. I will help you. You know this has never been done before, right?
And she was also absolutely like using her like extra just to like take in like the whole like as much experience as possible. Oh yeah. I figured, but that's sort of what's the point in visiting places and like going places and not experiencing the places, right? Like it's awfully nice of you to let me do this, but it's like an experience instead of just passing through or something. Like this is going to be a much better memory than just like, bringing the ship in and like hanging out. Don't get me wrong, your food and stuff is amazing, but like this is the real deal. Of course, like taking down your prison was also pretty great, but that's kind of like a one-time thing. Okay, so nothing near the mouth. Alley-oop.
he actually like kind of picks you up from the hips a little bit because the polar bear is very tall, and polar bears are big animals. I don't know if anyone's like they're very very large mega predators. And this one is on all fours, and he is going to kind of just set you into this very wide saddle, and he's going to take the kind of the rope from the stake, which would be its reins. He's like, okay, we're going to take a little ride now. And he's just going to walk you in a circle, and he's going to keep like turning back to you to try to see how you're...
Is she on a pony ride? You can't pull one over on me, who has a pony. She's having a blast. This is like... Yeah.
So for reference, I did look up how big a polar bear is, and when it's all 4 feet at the shoulder, it's about 4 to 5.3 feet.
Yeah.
But standing up, it's really fucking big. Like 8 feet, up to 9, 10 feet for male polar bears.
Deadly predators.
Winnie, are you going to try to ride solo?
Like, just try and...
Are you going to try to ride this polar bear without being guided by a Goliath? Are you going to ask
Not
to do that?
unless he says it's okay. It is
Okay,
not my bear.
Go ahead and roll an animal handling check anyway.
Winnie, YOLO.
YOLO. So she's going to use an advantage.
Is she? Well, just out of curiosity,
Nope.
What was it?
No.
No, out of curiosity. You can roll for advantage. I just want to know.
7 total?
7? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Do you want to use that advantage?
Yeah. Okay. Let's say 16 with her good luck stone.
Okay. You notice that as the polar bear is kind of rounding the turn, you see the Goliaths again carrying in the icebreaker, and the polar bear kind of catches the scent of it and begins to start like padding towards it, and Thrimnir has to kind of like rein it back in a little bit, and it bucks just a little bit, but you maintain your grip and everything. And he kind of looks to you with like a level of respect and just kind of nods at you, like, it was very good. You stayed on hungry polar bear. That is not something that every Goliath can do.
She is very good polar bear. And I'll admit, I don't have like a very wide range of reference, but she seems very nice.
Did you want to try taking the reins for yourself?
Oh, that'd be amazing. Wait till Scarlet hears. She's my very best friend, you know.
Okay, here's the reins. Just be very careful. Do not go far.
You're
just
right to be
scream if you-
suspicious. She hasn't let me ride a polar bear before, and you've let me ride a polar bear, so you're pretty much my best friend too now.
I've never had a best friend before.
Oh, you've been missing out. Now you've got one.
What do I do with it?
Let it ride polar bears.
Done. All right, well, let me pull up the stats for an armored polar bear. All right, Ava, go ahead and roll another animal handling check.
Oh, that was almost completely the wrong dice. Good luck stone's just constant, right? It's not like a 1 a day thing, right? It's just always on. Please say yes. Stone of good luck.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, good.
I
Oh, good.
can
It's a
check.
10. It's a 10.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Okay, I'm going to roll for the polar bear. It's going to do a wisdom save because it doesn't necessarily recognize you having enough weight to be its normal rider. Okay. It's a 17.
Okay.
Which beats a 10.
It does. Yes.
Yeah. Scotty takes off running. And you are now on a runaway armored polar bear. What would you like to do? How is this affecting you?
I mean, it's kind of bracing to like have the wind in wind in my face and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite thing. I would like to try and stop her nicely.
How are you doing that?
I have reins, so I think I'd like to utilize those.
Okay.
And possibly I would send Jeffrey like up and over in front of her to 'cause she's a predator, so like eyes facing forward, to like kind of surprise her and like maybe help distract her so that I can like get a handle on things.
Okay. Go ahead and roll animal handling with advantage. So this polar bear is barreling through the snow, just pawing through the tundra. The armor is clanking. Winnie, you're
19.
kind of bouncing up and down. With a 19, you are able to hold on to the reins just enough, rear back Scotty, as Jeffrey, a tiny metallic street shark, flies in the face of a polar bear. And you hear a roar as it's just like this. The polar bear freaks out just a little bit and kind of rears back, but kind of comes to a full stop, just literally skids in the snow like a Coca-Cola commercial. And the polar bear kind of comes to a stop and kind of turns around very sheepishly towards Thrimnir. And with that, we are going to cut over to Acacia. So Acacia, you have found your way to the tent that you had before, along with your father, Curio. What would you like to do?
So the first thing I do is, you know, when you get home after a long day of work, you literally just drop everything. I do that with all my saddlebags.
Yes.
After he dismounts, of course, because, yeah. And after kind of like waiting, settling myself in, I just kind of grab him for a hug. Big hug. One horse hoof, the front hoof's trying to like bring him into a hug too, because I gotta use all my limbs.
He's definitely into that hug. It's your dad. He's loved you ever since he first adopted you. Loves you more than anything in this whole world. And you feel the middle arm, well, because he is missing his left forearm. So it's kind of a one-armed hug, but you know it'd be two-armed if it could be.
Is the forearm missing new?
It is. You would know that is his lock-picking arm. Yeah, that was probably taken when he got taken.
On purpose. That was probably very much on purpose.
Yeah. But he pulls you in close. He goes, "Oh, honey, you did so amazing back there. And look at the friends. Well, again, not friends. New associates that you made. When we get back, when we tell the Eve Walkers, you got stories to tell, kid. Look at you."
I don't say anything for a long minute because I'm just like, okay, I got my dad here. He's not going anywhere because I'm not going to let go, so we're good. But after his like proclamation, I kind of like let go, pull back, I just have my hands on his shoulders for a little bit. What the hell were you thinking? You left Dad and me without saying anything, and the guild didn't know where the hell you were. And then we find out you got fucking kidnapped and you were on your way to the prison. And you know how many people I had to threaten to figure out where the hell you were? Dad's worried, ridiculously worried about you, and we don't know where you went. What the heck?
Oh, okay.
You know how worried sick we were?
You know what?
I know you go out on jobs all the time, and usually we come back in like a week or two. Then I find out you sailed all the way from Sotiria all the way to the fucking frozen north, and we're just like, okay, time for a jailbreak on the most notorious prison, I guess, because you got kidnapped. captured? I don't know. Whatever the proper word here is.
Arrested.
Arrested.
I
Okay.
was arrested. Yeah. Oddly enough, not my first time. You know that.
And now we need to get you a new arm.
I have backups at home. This is.
Well, it's not going to help you now.
You had something taken from you, kid. I'm your dad. I wasn't gonna sit there and just let someone get away with that.
I know, but like, I'd rather have something taken from me than have my dad taken away from me.
Well, that wasn't the plan. I know you're upset, and I'm so sorry.
Like, I'm upset, but I'm glad you're okay. We were just extremely, extremely worried, and now I gotta figure out how to tell Pops that you're okay. We'll figure that out when we get to it.
He's honestly dealt with worse, but it'll be okay. If nothing else, I'm glad he had you this time around.
He's not happy with you either.
That's gonna be
your problem.
It is. It absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
Acacia, you're familiar enough with Curio. A lot of people have a tough time reading emotion on Warforged faces because they don't really move, but you can easily tell the emotion with your dad. It's even in the eyes that there's almost like there's the way the light changes in them when he has certain moods. You can read him because you've been reading almost your entire life. And he is definitely very sincere. He's very upset with how much he's kind of hurt you. Mm-hmm. Acacia, come on. I know. No, I am really sorry.
I'm just glad we got out of there somehow, all alive. Somehow.
Well, I know how. It's because I raised a good daughter, and
also explosives.
That's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
You're so smart. I'm so proud of you. I really am proud of you.
Dad.
Hey. I got it. I got it back. I did.
That asshole fucking I hate him so much I don't even remember his name. Ogren?
Ogden? Yeah,
asshole.
No, he's a real piece of shit. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna also beat the shit out of Panveer when I find him too, when I get home. Because he's the one who stole it from me.
I think we're gonna have to leave Panveer on an island by themselves for a while.
You are very gracious.
We'll save that for later, but for now, he's gonna open a compartment in his torso, one of his lower, like where his lower abdominals would be. He kind of presses in, and when he decompresses, a small panel opens. And you would know that that's kind of one of his things as a Warforged, is he is able to smuggle just items in the hollow spaces of his metallic body. And you see a little bit of light shining from inside, which you didn't necessarily expect. But he pulls out a small, about the width of your palm, just a rectangular bar of some sort of metal that's seemingly like gold, but isn't, and is carved with these kind of runic, this language that's never really been identified by anyone before. And it is glowing now, which has never happened before either.
I like to imagine it's on some type of leather thong that I can wear as like a necklace.
Mm-hmm. There is a hollow bit in the middle. And yeah.
I think it's easy enough if that has been removed at some point, easy enough to get another long strip of leather where I can reattach it.
It's still there.
Oh, it's still there?
It's still there. And he goes to put it around your neck.
After he does that, I'll pull him into another hug.
I missed you too, kid.
Yeah. Like,
we can go home and...
You didn't have to do this.
No, I did. Nobody steals from my girl.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to catch a ride with Eula's crew and get back to Sotiria.
Yeah, hey, by the way, you didn't make any deals with any of them, did you? Okay.
No, I literally just said, we'd help each other get what we needed from the prison. I
All
didn't
right.
realize they were looking for you. By the way, they're looking for you. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's like at the minimum, we talk. And if it comes down to it, we book it. I am faster than them.
Yeah.
They don't have the dogs, so.
Just be careful around them, okay? I don't like being noticed by Eula's salt smile. And whatever you do, don't make any deals, don't make any arrangements, whatever. It's bad news.
No. I've heard enough rumors where I know better.
I know. You're a smart kid. I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah.
All right, hey, you gotta be cold and you gotta be hungry and you did a whole bunch of work. Let's go get you some food. Let's get you some drink, too.
I completely agree. And honestly, the best place to talk to them is in the middle of a crowded place anyway.
It's fair. That's fair. All right. So with that, he goes to leave the tent with you, and you'll probably be joining the tent right around the time that Proximus is as well. So Proximus, Acacia, Curio, Scarlet, you would see each of them entering the tent. What have you been doing this whole time?
I have been drinking, trying to get warm, and writing in my tome. I've been writing the list of names that I found in the warden's office, underlining the ones that I recognize.
And there are a few that you recognize. So if you don't mind, I don't mind listing those real quick here. Because there are the few which you would kind of recognize just from being in Eula's service. So there is, of course, Captain Callisto Everhart is listed on there. Captain Isaac Longate, who is a human who's also in service to Eula. Captain Xavier Undermont, who is a dwarf in service to Eula. Curio is on there. Eula is on there. You're on there. Ogden is on there. There's another name which you kind of scan over at first, but something about it makes you come back to it. It's the last name, Evandriel. Where have you heard Evandriel before? Isn't that Winnie's last name? Cyril Evandriel. It says that he's a wizard, sea elf, wanted for a number of crimes: smuggling, theft, murder, even intrigue, conspiracy, crimes against the Empire. Just for thought. You would see, as you kind of look up from writing down the names, Acacia and Proximus and Curio are walking in.
I would have, after I got my necklace back, my trinket, I would have put it on as many, well, one, because it's glowing, under as many layers as I could. So definitely under my little, like, scarf wrap head thing. If I could get it under some armor, I would, but I'm not going to force it. Just enough to be covered.
Sure. Remind me, Winnie has the rest of the other two pieces. Yes. Okay.
And before they come in and sit or enter, I'm going to cross that last name out there.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm going to scratch that last name.
Oh, okay.
In the tome.
Okay. All right. So it's right about this time that Winnie, your polar bear ride has come to an abrupt end. Thrimnir comes running up. Hey, very good job. It's time to get off the bear.
It was a good time. She's spirited.
She certainly is. I mean, she's used to riding into battle. So it was a good charge, what you did. Good stop, good form.
Yeah, It's a little cold out. Right in my lungs. She's pretty amazing. Maybe some firm ground might be the best plan right now. Thank you for letting me ride your bear.
Yes, like I said, you did well, and he offers you a hand to help you down.
She'll take it and she'll pat Scaldy, right? Scotty's shoulder and say yes. Very, very good bear. Thank you for letting me ride you.
You should go get warm, get food. I will meet you in the tent later.
That would be good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, Jeffrey, come. Please and thank you. And she's gonna like a little shell shocked from like what just happened. Like it was a great time, but also it was like really scary in retrospect. So she's getting to the tent a little shaky, but she gets there.
Yeah. You thought the bear ride was intense. Oh, that's the next scene. Because it's in a tent.
Yep.
Okay. So when you walk in to see Acacia and Curio and Proximus and Scarlet all kind of sitting at the same table. Scarlet has kind of moved her tome aside just a little bit as the others sit down. And you see, since everyone's a friend of Winnie, you see another room full of friends.
Is Ivan there?
Sure, yep.
Okay. When she comes in, she's definitely gonna like greet her known friends and wave at Ivan, who I would like to think has moved since the last time she saw him, but maybe not. Who is she to judge?
Yes, he's in a slightly different seat, sure.
And she would very much like some mead. And something hot to eat.
Yeah, drinks are brought over. Thrimnir had said the morning fare is sliced mammoth snout. So you are served some steaming sliced mammoth snout. Say that 5 times fast. Don't.
You can't make me.
I won't. Okay, you're all sitting at the table now. What would you like to do?
Snarf that snout.
Uh-huh.
I do have a quick question. Have we had a chance to refresh pools and stuff for long rest stuff, or no?
Yeah, you have not had a long rest yet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. For
it's kind of all just been like one whole thing. So, when it's as you're sitting down that you start to feel like a weird pull against your bag, and Acacia, you start to feel it's not like it's like leaping out or anything, but you can actually feel that there's a warmth and almost like a pressing against the armor from the metal piece against your neck.
Jeffrey, now's like not a good time.
And you see that Jeffrey is like standing on the table next to you, just waiting to dab.
Quick side question: Have we had enough time for a short rest?
Sure, you would have had time for a short rest.
Cool.
Warlock.
I would ignore the pool and try not to. I do like side eye the direction it's going or wanting to go, but I don't act on it or anything.
It is definitely going towards Winnie.
Winnie does not care once she realizes it's not Jeffrey being a little naughty wereshark. She'll dig the astrolabe out of her bag and just like dump it on the table. What? Okay, Scarlet, it's being a thing right now. I just wanted to eat my snout and it's acting up. What did Eula say about that?
Wow.
Also, it's hot.
Convenient if
I don't think it's supposed to be this hot.
it's hot.
Touch it. It's warm. Maybe it's because I'm so cold, but it feels
I'll
hot.
take your word for it. Do I know what the heck it's doing, Derek? Any idea?
It's very similar to when the first two pieces were brought together.
Hey, this brings up a good point. Now that we're all here, Curio, Mr. Curio, the sir, we were sort of wondering, this probably looks kind of familiar, huh?
No.
Sort of. Like, in a general related sort of way. You can just say, yeah, we know it's yes. We know the answer is yes. The question is...
You know what they're talking about?
I really don't. I'm sorry, Winnie. I don't know what that is.
You would lie to me. Your good friend Winnie. That's not very nice. I already have Scarlet to deal with.
Acacia,
I don't know. You literally met her once before this. Once. And it was very brief.
Winnie, okay, help me out here. I don't mean to be lying to you. You helped me get out of Bleak Watch. I'm very appreciative of that. What is the issue we're having here? I don't understand what that is, or...
I have it on very good authority. One of my very best friends told me that you might have stolen a little piece. Maybe not stolen. We can be a little vague on that word. Appropriated, reacquired, however you want to say it. I don't care. I'm not here to judge. The other piece of this from Ogden is that's not what... Yeah.
You would believe what Ogden says? Or anyone
No, he didn't say that. No, he thought he still had it, which meant a very good thief snuck in and took it without him knowing. Now, who here is a very good thief? It's not me. I'm pretty sure it's you, Curio.
I'm gonna...
Winnie, if I was that good of a thief, would I really have gotten captured by the Empire? I mean...
But you weren't captured by the person you stole from, were you?
Derek?
He didn't know.
Yes.
I would like to use one of my my psionic link to just link with Curio.
Okay.
And that's gonna last for 8 hours. So
Okay.
Cool. It's fine. Our hand-me-down, our artifact is got some kind of pull to whatever that thing is on the table. Do I actually know what that is? Am I looking at it?
Wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, he was being, to give Eva a bit here, he was being honest that he did not recognize the other two pieces.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, but when she said the whole Ogden thing, this is him being surreptitious about that.
Yeah.
He has put two and one together, essentially.
Yeah. But I do just note of hey, whatever this thing is that you got back for me, that's mine. It's friends with the other ones on the table, is what I'm telling him.
Friends! Yeah. Vinny understands that.
You don't hear this, though.
No, I know. No.
Winnie's just there, too. Winnie's everywhere.
She knows when someone mentions
Winnie's
the word
even in the
friends.
psychic conversation. She just pops in friends, you said the word?
Yeah.
It's the word of the day. It's the word every day.
So, they said they were looking for an item when I met up with them.
Acacia, it's yours, one way or another. I leave it up to you, but I don't know. It's up to you of whether you trust these people. You're a big girl. You were smart enough and strong enough to do everything up to this point. I trust you. You got it. Whatever you do, I got your back.
Let's see where this goes.
All right. Winnie, hypothetically, say that I knew what you were talking about. What are you trying to do with that?
Put it back together. This is an
What is-
astrolabe, and it's not complete. It's missing like one more piece.
What's an astrolabe?
Well, theoretically, you line it up with like the stars, and you can chart a course and all that. But this one's like a little special because, I mean, you can look at these two pieces. They're not like brass or gold or copper even. I kind of get around a lot and I see a lot of things, and I don't know what this metal is. And it's a puzzle that I really want to solve. So there is something like these two pieces right here, and she'll kind of point to like where the seam was, like where they join. We put them together because they like woke up and like started glowing and got all like hot and weird and stuff like this right now. And then when we put them together, they just went like ka-chink and became like this one piece. It's not really one piece, it's 2/3 of a piece, but it's whatever, you know. But that's like another indicator that maybe you sneaky thing, you have the other piece with you somewhere, somehow.
Hypothetically, if we had this third piece,
Hypothetically.
it belongs to us.
Sure.
Why should we give it to you? And let's just ignore the fact, you know, pirates, thieves. Well, let's just.
I'm an independent contractor, so, but yeah, I see your.
Regardless, let's just say if we ignore those two pieces, they cross each other out.
Sure.
For now.
Well,
Why should it be in your possession?
I mean, it's really in all of our possessions right now. Like, we could just like team up, sort of like we did for the prison job. She'll like lower her voice on that last word, but like it's still loud. Like it's not a whisper. It's just like slightly. If we teamed up, it would still be like in all of our possessions. You would keep your eye on like this hypothetical third piece that is yours. I don't want to take it from you. We just want to like borrow it for a little while. And I'll admit,
What Winnie means is that this has been her whole life journey.
well, not when I was like a baby.
been
I didn't know anything
hunting.
about it when I was a baby.
Winnie.
But yeah, mostly that's right. Like,
She's been hunting for these pieces to figure out what this is for her whole life. One piece was given to her. She's had it forever.
I did
This
mental.
is her whole life journey. We're just trying to help her fulfill that.
It's very sad.
That's oddly sentimental words from Scarlet.
I tell it how it is. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes across sincere.
You're such a good friend.
There you are with that word again.
Winnie's gonna eat some of her snout. Not Scarlet's, that would be weird. The meal in front of her.
Scarlet's not
we-
eating the snout.
We knew what you meant. It's weird you specified, though.
Perfect that you specified.
We love you, Eva. And you, Proximus. What is your hand in this?
Kind of
That is a good question. I came to
He
the
is my
surface.
underling.
She would like that to be the case, but I am here upon my own free will, serving Eula on my own.
Mm-hmm.
You can think it was free will. What do we know? It's not.
Just kind of after all like these conversations, you could tell I'm getting a little tight-lipped. Just with how quiet I am. I'm not going to speak for Curio, but. And you're. I will not lie and say I'm not curious.
Curious about what?
The pieces. You said it
Or
was
maybe we should
astrolabe.
finish this conversation somewhere more private.
I will.
And Proximus looks around.
I will use up my another point and connect all of us this time. Is this quiet enough?
I
don't want to
really
put any
don't like
pieces
this.
together.
He says it out loud, though. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Scarlet?
I prefer not to have the pieces out in the open.
Don't look at me. That's your friend Winnie.
Oh no, I stopped trying to control her a while ago. Not that the tribes people here are a threat, but if they see something shiny, they're going to jump on it.
She'll put the astrolabe part back in the bag.
Thank you, Winnie.
So Proximus gets up and rounds for everyone. And he says really loud, he goes up to the bar and he takes out some of the gold that from the box that he has of the bounty and slaps it for everyone to get drinks so that they get just slammed. So they're like drunk and can't pay attention.
Okay.
In his mind, he says, this should fix the problem.
So, Mikyl, we established in Proximus's kind of backstory that he has no concept of monetary worth.
Correct. I don't know what this means, but he just a handful out of his haversack.
Go ahead and roll me a D100, and I want to see how much gold Proximus is. Is Proximus going to destabilize the economy of this poor little Goliath town?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Well, it's at 29.
Okay. 29 gold is just like clanked onto the bar, and everyone just kind of looks around, like it goes quiet for a minute. There was like, did he just buy everything? And the bartender just kind of like very like cautiously scoops it. Everyone's just waiting for like a bar fight to break out, but everyone's just okay. All right, drinks on everybody. Drinks on everybody. Thank you, little blue boy. Okay.
You're very welcome. And then he goes to sit down.
Don't forget that's not your gold to spend.
Yeah.
I think the gold's out of the bag now.
Quite
You want
literally.
to take it back? I don't.
This should give us some time to figure out what you want to do with the astrolabe, correct? They seem to be busy.
I want to see how it works.
We could go back to the ship.
So I'm
Right
sorry, I
out
was
there.
messing with captions. Have you all put the pieces together?
Not yet.
No. Okay, so you're deciding if you're going to do it here or if you need to find somewhere more private. Yes?
I haven't even publicly said that I haven't yet.
But no, what,
That's fair. Okay.
hypothetically.
We still think Curio has it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, sir, give me the thing that you don't have.
We could go back to the ship. Take care of it there. Get the move on. Get off this barren wasteland of snow.
Barren, because it has bears. That was really good, Scarlet.
Definitely what she meant.
And Bladely.
I vote ship.
The ship sounds fine to me.
Also, we have to drop you off somewhere, right? I mean, unless you want to come, like, kicking around with us.
Like in this mini conversation, I am, once they want to talk to go back to the ship, I just talked to Curio. So conundrum. Either we go with them now, before we resolve this, and if things go bad, we're stranded on a ship. Otherwise, we don't do anything and we stay here, and then we're stranded in an icy wasteland until another ship comes by.
Yeah, and with Bleakwatch gone, I don't think we're going to find many friendly ships coming this way.
Right. So, does that mean we want to try and take our chances with Eula's crew?
The devil you know beats the devil you don't.
Yes. And then back to everyone else. We'll go back to the ship.
Wonderful. We can offer you free passage to wherever you want.
It's a nice ship. We got most of the blood out from the wereshark.
Long story.
I don't think I want to know.
All right then. Let's go back to the Innocents.
Oh, okay then. I guess off we go. So you're all just leaving like right then and there?
I did put a bunch of like my non-important stuff in the tent, so I'd go back and get that. But
Sure.
Yeah, we get whatever we had left and let
Well-
the stocks. But basically just get back to the ship.
Yeah.
I know I know you would get the I wasn't there for it, but everything, the gear and supplies and stuff for the ship.
Yeah, so Thrimnir has begun, as you all exit the tent, Acacia is recovering her items from her tent. You see that Thrimnir has organized a few of the Goliath to start loading boxes of supplies. Salted fish, salted mammoth meat, just the stuff that they are able to scrounge up and eat. There's even some mushrooms in there. You kind of get the idea that maybe there are some caverns nearby that they're able to. That is some of the only like non-meat that they really have in their diet. Friends, I will have supplies ready for you hopefully by when the sun is highest in the sky. So noon, we can bring it to your ship and we can utilize the new metal man that Winnie was kind enough to loan us. Yes, cheap. We will bring it to the shore, but it will take us some time to acquire enough in exchange for the metal man. Are you all heading out now, or are you going to stay in our town?
We're just going to the ship. I need to check on my crew.
Very well.
But we won't undock or anything of the sort. Not
Honey
just yet.
might come down. Or,
How will I know to look for Honey?
oh, she's amazing. You're gonna love her. She'll probably be really enthusiastic about the food. She's got, I don't know, like brownish blonde hair, I think. Like trying to describe like the color of her coat, like not thinking to mention it as like a
Yeah,
coat.
you're currently describing like any kind of humanoid at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to say that Honey is a gnoll, or are you going to let that be a surprise?
She doesn't really think it's like, she's just trying to like describe it in like, not
Yeah, she's got
intentionally.
like brown eyes and just like
Yeah.
like sandy blonde hair,
Yeah.
really long fingernails. She's very tall. Got a big laugh.
Is she? Oh yeah, her laugh, like you can hear it throughout the ship. Sort of like Proximus. I just think they would laugh back and forth if they like could hear what the other was saying. Also maybe Trosho. You might see them. There might be something that they might be interested in. They're much shorter than Honey. They also have a funny bartering system, but I'm sure it's fine. Okay, it was
then.
really nice meeting you.
It was nice making friends with all of you. Safe travels. If you ever find yourself back in the north, we will probably still be around. Hopefully.
Goodbye, Pop. I won't
Goodbye, my
forget
sweet
about
boy.
you.
All right. Well, if there is anything else you need, let us know. Otherwise, a few hours, we will have couple mammoths, middlemen bring you all the food in exchange.
Do we
Wonderful. Sounds like a good plan.
To keep the mammoth?
Yeah. You already made the deal.
You're right. Okay, to the ship.
Ooh, the ship.
Winnie, go ahead and roll a perception check. It is visual, since you have your hand eyes. Yeah.
Which are coming close to the end of their. All right. 16, 17.
Okay. With 17, as you all are kind of walking back, you've passed by the large icebreaker eel-like creature, which has been essentially set up on stakes with several fires underneath it, where it is being slow cooked on almost like a turn spit. But when you look over to the polar bears one last time, and you look over and you see Scotty, and she's sitting there, very just like big bear-like, with like armor and everything, and you could swear that she just waves a little bit at you.
Scarlet, I want to stay.
Winnie, you can't stay.
But the bears.
It's okay. We'll come back, I promise.
The minute she sees the Flittons, she's distracted again.
And with that, we are going to go ahead and take our break. We will be back in probably 10 minutes. So stick around, do the thing.
Sea shanty.
Get your drinks. Is there a sea shanty?
Is there a sea shanty?
Was there?
I'm just
Was there?
checking.
I
I'm
don't think
just
there was.
checking.
There wasn't a hype train or $45. So
Okay, just
Okay.
making sure. I do
You-
owe.
there's still time.
I
$45
do.
donation goes to St. Jude. I will sing a sea shanty. It is a rather bawdy one.
just to be clear, it's a single $45.
Single $45 donation. I mean, hell, if there's more than one, I will do a couple of sea shanties, but yeah.
And as a
I owe
reminder,
faint water
if you
splishing.
like the character art you see, for a $100 donation, not only do you get my dubious art, but you're entered to win a piece of character art from our very own Mikyl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about that one.
I owe paint water splishing.
You're doing that right now.
All right, everybody, do the stuff. We'll be back. Stick around.
Splish splash paint water. We'll be back. See you guys soon.
Ahoy, and welcome back to Horizon's Call. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to pick right back up as the party has gotten back to the Innocents. So we'll skip the whole getting on a longboat sort of thing. You're able to hail one down, get back to the ship without too much hassle. What would you all like to do once you're aboard the ship?
I would
Somehow
like to
struggle
cuddle the
aboard the
Tressons.
Ah, there's a Tress on.
Oh, hello, baby.
There's a yep, paw right in the face. Yes, Demona flies right down to greet you, Winnie. But you see like the face kind of scrunches up a little bit, and she like gives a sniff and just like flies away. Yeah, you smell like polar bear.
Oh.
You smell like mega predator. He's gonna fly off. Okay. So yeah, you've made it back to the ship. Connery is, as always, there waiting with you, or waiting for you rather. Arms behind his back, as opposed to across his chest. He seems to have more and more. Each time you've returned to the ship, there seems to be a change in his body language. And as Acacia and Curio board the ship, he kind of stares down at you, and what you would see, Acacia, is a rather large leonin. He has his fangs, his canines are metal. They are actually adamantine. The right side of his face is like his mane is actually pulled back into braids, and you can see a big reason of why that is pieces of his mane are missing to where there are long scars going from his brow all the way to the back of his skull, almost claw-like scars. And he kind of snarls down and turns to Scarlet. Did you pick up some strays, miss?
We have some additions. They are under my care, my order. Leave them be. They are guests.
Don't
The
worry,
Innocence doesn't
Connery.
have guests. What was that, Proximus?
Don't worry, Connery. They are very skilled in what they do. They won't be on for long.
Fine, it's your ship. I will let the captain know. Is there anything you need from me, her, or anyone else?
Not that I can think of. Acacia, where are we taking you?
Derek, how map-wise, where is Sotiria?
Pretty far south. Sotiria is here's a map. Y'all are up here. Sotiria is right down here. So you actually need to sail through. The shortest way would be right down here, but this actually cuts right along the longest length of the Empire's range, because you are technically in Imperial territory
Waters,
right now.
yeah.
That's where the I mean that's what they claim. However they can police it is up to them. But yeah, the prison was up here, so they could have claimed this whole just swatch right here. But Sotiria exists just a little bit outside. It's actually, weirdly enough, not Scarlet, you would know, not too far from Dionysi, which is where Elios was from.
We need to go
But the
south.
cold, yeah, yes,
We need to go
warmer waters for sure.
very far south. But if it's easier, and probably it is easier on everyone's end, anywhere where we can get another ship. As long as we're not in a frigid wasteland, honestly.
Well, we were heading south, so we'll go south. Gunnar, let the captain know.
Are we disembarking now, miss?
No, these are just future plans. We're waiting for supplies. What do I want to call it? We made a trade. The Goliaths in the town, they're bringing rations and whatnot for us.
At this, Winnie will disappear down below to inform Trosho and Honey.
I hope you like
Okay.
Mammoth.
And salted fish.
A change in cuisine might be good for the crew.
We'll see.
So
doubt.
between Scarlet and Winnie, several longships are dispatched to wait for the shipments to arrive. And Connery goes to report back to Callisto.
He's absolutely charming.
That's one way to put it.
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone call him that before.
How did I pick up on the sarcasm and you did not, Winnie? Come on.
I was thinking about Mammoth Snout, to be honest.
It was really good.
Right? I was a little distracted. Okay, so hypothetically, if there was this third piece of the thing, when might we hypothetically be able to see how they all fit together?
I'm just worried we're not going to get it back. And what's going to be done with it, though I am very curious on what it is, since you mentioned it might have to do with the stars.
Well, yeah, that's I mean, okay, so there's this thing, which is a little more mystical than your usual sort of astrolabe, which, is metal and just, aligns with stuff and, helps you chart things. This one glows and has, a mystical, magnetic, attraction to other parts of itself. Which implies that maybe it's a little more how do I want to say? It's not just your run-of-the-mill astrolabe, is all I'm saying. But we don't know what it does, because it's, incomplete.
But I'm sure if we had the complete thing, Wendy would be able to figure it out very quickly.
She is very smart.
Very.
Hey, thanks.
Kind of give like a very like heavy sigh and give like a little side eye look at Curio. I have it. Curio does not have it.
Oh, the old trade-off. Interesting.
No, it was always mine.
It belongs to Acacia.
Did you not have it in the prison? Did we do a whole, prison destruction for no reason? I mean, super glad we got you out. I bet you're happy to be out and not in there, but, the reason we were there was to get the piece. No offense.
Oh, I am. I'm grateful for that. But, okay. The piece was given to me a long, long time ago. I wasn't always... he kind of, taps metal against metal. I wasn't always like this.
Don't ask how old they are. They won't tell you.
I really won't. I've lived a very long time, and then I lived again in this. And he kind of points to the kind of glowing orb, which is set off to the left, where the heart would be. Thanks to this object, I now live a sort of second life. Anyway, one way or another, I've done a lot of... I've had a lot of experiences in my life, and a lot of those experiences have led me to unique objects, and one of those objects was the thing you were asking for. It was gifted to me a long, long time ago, and when Acacia became part of my family, and she brought me nothing but pride and love and joy,
You can...
No, I'm proud of you. They can know that I'm proud of you. You're getting all red. Don't get red. You're fine. You're pretty and smart and beautiful, and you're great at everything. Everyone should know that.
Aww.
Anyway,
It's a family heirloom is what he's trying to say.
It is, and I gifted it to her. It belongs to her, and it was taken from her and then given to Ogden, but that's not how things work.
I'm still gonna cut off his hands.
I'll help you.
So I went and I got it back, and then on my way back, I got nicked. It's not the first time, so I hid the object in a way where they wouldn't find it. And I'd still be in Blink Watch if it wasn't for all of you. So I do owe you, I am very grateful for that, but...
So you say you had a hidden place that you put this piece while you were in prison?
Yeah. That's kind of the nice thing about this kind of body.
Pocket?
Proximus, sometimes you don't want to know.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what a curio cabinet is?
Buddy, I think he's asking about my prison pocket, and buddy, I ain't got one of those anymore.
You hid in a cabinet? Well, no wonder they caught you. That's the first place you look.
Wait, I kind of am a cabinet.
That's what I was trying to get at. He is a
I'm
actual
sorry.
curio cabinet.
They're a little dense sometimes.
That's all right. As long as they still float. No, Winnie, and he's gonna kind of press on different panels, and they'll kind of just pop open, and he's got just little hollow compartments.
I wish I had that many places to store things myself. That must be very handy.
It's nice for my line of work, sure.
Pockets, Winnie.
Well, I mean, yeah, but sometimes they get all bulky and stuff, and fashion-wise, I feel like this is a lot more streamlined. Okay, so
Anyway.
look, so here's the thing. So it's part mystical, right? And part practical. I can think of some ways to like break your piece back off, but I can't guarantee it because I don't know what this is.
Have you been able to break the other two pieces apart?
No, but it's also not complete. So it might not be able to be disassembled until it is complete.
And we can figure out what it does.
I will consider giving it to you.
Lending it.
Lending. No, you're right. Lending is the correct term. On a couple conditions. My dad gets safe passage home or wherever he would like to go, alive.
Sure.
I'll cut off anyone's hands who lays a hand on him.
Okay, you really have a thing about cutting off hands.
It's
and
very
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
a thing.
effective.
It's very effective.
Sure.
Very
okay.
handy.
Yeah.
I
Is that is what happened to you, Curio?
She take
They
your hands?
no, I mean they took he's gonna indicate to like where it's broken off at the elbow. This is where they kind of figured that this is where I kept my lockpicking set. It's again, it's the nice thing about having bodies like this. You can kind of make additions and enhancements from time to time, but they figured that one out pretty quick. So
You know, you think they'd be smart enough to, put some magic barriers in there?
Magic barriers are expensive.
I bet they'll
Imperial
learn
prison.
now.
There's no one to teach or learn, Winnie. So.
Okay. So safe passage for your father, Curio, who like was probably gonna happen anyway. So like check. We'll check that off.
And the second one is I want to see what this does as well.
That seems fair.
Temporarily follow your group around to see what this does. And when the time comes, I would like to use it. Depending on what it does.
Depending on what it does,
Depending on what it does.
I think we could come to an agreement.
Regardless, I'll have to learn to use an astrolabe. But yes, regardless, I request use of it, considering it is 1/3 mine.
I mean, that seems fair.
And if it
1/3
can be
Winnie's?
broken off and disassembled, I want my piece back.
Also seems fair.
I'll give like a side look to Curio. Do you think you can get back home to Dad safely this time?
yeah, kid, just you get me far enough south, I'll find a reliable ship this time. I honestly shouldn't have taken the last one. I knew they weren't smart enough. But I was just trying to go home quick, you know?
You
I
see
have
Pan here.
connections.
Sorry, what was that, Scarlet?
I have connections. I can get you home safe.
I appreciate that. And yeah, honey, if I see Panvier, I'll
Save some for me.
you know it.
Thank you.
Just the hands.
Just threaten him enough and make sure he can't go anywhere until I get there.
Oh yeah,
Take out,
for sure.
take out the legs.
He doesn't have much legs. He is a halfling.
Even better. Less work.
Yeah, we don't need that big of a cage then.
Okay. So, hypothetically, you could.
Oh, that's right. And I'll move my little my scarf cloth thing to the side, and that's where, and I'll pull it out from underneath my armor.
Before we put them together, I would prefer to do this at night, when most of the crew is asleep. While this is my ship and they are under Eula's orders. I still don't trust many people here. Anyone, actually, but...
Trust is hard gained, easily lost.
when you work in the pirates' life, trust is non-existent.
Winnie's just going to look at the other piece longingly.
Soon, Winnie. We can work on it tonight.
Okay.
Okay. So you're waiting for tonight. What would you all like to do aboard the ship until nightfall? And I guess just Scarlet, once the resupply has been attained, do you want to disembark or do you want to wait until night and stay docked?
No, disembark.
Okay. So then,
I want to stay here long.
Sure. Yeah, Frost is it's on the ship. The crew is trying to warm themselves. There's a couple of small fires which they built in safe places to try to keep warm. But yeah, you would know that frost on the sails especially is not great over a long period of time, especially as the sun comes up. It's going to melt and refreeze. It's a problem. So the sooner you can get out of here with the sun rising, the better. You don't want to stay around too long in the north at night with the moisture of the sails. So the resupply happens at noon. What are you doing for the rest of the day? Is there anything between where you are now and the resupply? It's a couple hours.
Are we all still in the same quarters?
So Proximus, you essentially have the quarters to yourself since Elios left. Scarlet has her personal quarters. Winnie has been in the hold. So Curio and Acacia are kind of...
And get below decks. What kind of ship is it? Is it a ladder to get below decks? Stairs?
It is stairs. Yeah, they're wide steps, and I mean it's enough where you can actually move in large supplies. It's big enough for Acacia to move safely. Yeah.
I was worried I'd have to stay on deck.
Yeah, no.
The whole time.
It'd be fine, except for in the north, honestly.
Build your little tent.
Yeah. Definitely. I think I would suggest, what if there is no room, definitely out of the way place where we can make an easy bolt if things go south.
Yeah. So there are two sub-levels to the ship. There's the lower deck and there's the hold. The hold is typically where Winnie likes to hang out. That's where like most of the equipment is kept, most of the goods, the dry goods. And then the lower decks are mostly where the sailors' hammocks are, and also the galley and the infirmary.
Just somewhere where we'd be out of the way for regular crew stuff.
Yeah, you definitely find room below decks. Most of the crew is kind of out and about except for the night crew who are currently asleep, and you'd be able to find room in the galley as well, considering that Honey is now prepping. So you do see a rather large female gnoll who's moving all about, trying to get ready on one of the longboats to go to shore and get all the goods and whatnot. Okay. Anything else between the resupply? So the resupply happens successfully. Honey comes back and she actually seems pretty happy with the goods that you were able to get. She's smiling and laughing very loudly, of course. So the resupply is successful, and the ship takes off just a little bit past noon itself, and you start to head south. What are the rest of you doing for the rest of the day?
Walking the ship and observing. I've been off the ship for a while. Need to be seen.
Okay. Proximus?
I'll go talk to Callisto.
Okay. And just so I know, Winnie, what are you doing for the rest of the day between the resupply and the evening when you're going to supposedly reassemble?
She's going to study the pieces that she has. I know she already has, but just to now that the question has been raised, I guess she will try and suss out how she might pull them apart later on. What might work on that.
Okay. All right. And Acacia, anything with you?
You said Winnie is going to observe the other pieces.
Yes.
I think I would hover, if you would allow me.
Yeah, sure. She
observe
kind of
them
like
over your
zones
shoulders.
out and like mutters to herself and stuff as she's like got all her stuff out.
Yeah.
And this would be down in the hold, but
I think I want to observe the other pieces that Winnie's looking at, occasionally looking at the one around my neck, and trying to do a little sussing out of like what it is, even though we historically don't have any information about our piece, but just doing a look through.
Winnie knows what a regular astrolabe does and is and how it works, right?
She does.
I would
So to
ask
review,
if
just
that
for
is. Yeah.
yeah, for Mara's point, for Acacia's point, an astrolabe is a navigational tool that almost looks like a large compass or large pocket watch. So it is a circular object about the size of an adult palm. This one is, like I said, some kind of ornate gold or bronze or copper. It's an alien metal, regardless. And it has two pieces. There is the larger support piece and a piece that lays into that. And then there is a peg at the center, which Acacia could very reasonably guess that is the hole at the center of her rectangular piece. The way that an astrolabe works is that there are symbols all around the circle on the outside, and you match up the two lines of the rectangular piece and then match up your line of sight to a star, and you are able to navigate by where that star is placed as to where the line is on the astrolabe itself. So Acacia you would basically reason you have the linchpin essentially to this tool, to this navigational tool. And you would know from your stories as a foal how important the stars are. And you might even, I'm going to give you this without even an intelligence check. You would recognize that the beyond ancient language written on the two connected pieces of the astrolabe and the piece that you have, you might surmise that this is the language of the elders, maybe.
In that case, I'd be actually, compared to how I was before, extremely chatty, Winnie, with you. Asking a lot of questions about astrolabes, how they work, what they're used for, and the like.
Winnie is over the moon. She is so happy to explain and share and talk and like point things out and so yeah, she'll chat right back and offer information. Yeah,
a lot of anxious back and forth of from one half my hooves to the other half the hooves, trotting in place.
Fantastic.
Acacia, would you say anything about the elders or anything from your end? Okay, you'd just be asking questions. Okay. All right. Then we will cut over to Proximus and Callisto. So Proximus, you find Captain Callisto Everhart ever at the helm of the ship. She is not actually at the wheel. This time Connery has taken over and she kind of is just observing. Just once again staring straight forward into the sails themselves as if she can see beyond them, far beyond them, with her night sky black eyes. And she does turn to you as you approach and just kind of nods to you.
Captain, how are you?
As I ever am.
Like always.
You were successful, it seems.
Successful in one way, yes. Confused in many others, like usual.
Like usual.
I couldn't help but think about you the entire time when I was gone. Is this something that is usual with these powers? A connection?
Proximus, you are connected to something far greater than yourself, far greater than even Eula at this point. Yes. You've touched the other, the beyond, and it is a part of you now. And I am so sorry. And you are also so very welcome.
You have to excuse me, because these riddles are so different from the way that I have learned. And you told me that I would have to unlearn things, and I'm prepared to do so. But this comes at a high price for me.
Proximus, the cost that you are paying for these powers is far less than what you would pay to Eula. Proximus, you know what riddles? Fine. You touched death, Proximus. I gave you a piece of the Shadowfell. I made it a part of you. I died once, Proximus. I went down with this ship, but my contract was not complete, so Eula brought it and me back. I gave you a piece of what I touched when I died, in the hopes that if you ever come to that point, you will be able to rest, for I will never be able to rest. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm trying to save you from?
I feel like I cannot fully comprehend what is going on. I feel like my whole world is being lifted upside down right now. And these things that you are saying, I have spent my whole life sacrificing to be right here, right now, in service to Eula. And I would be a blasphemer if I was to tell anyone about this. The Tritons treat her as a god.
I didn't say she wasn't. But not all gods deserve worship, Proximus.
I am understanding that now. And I am willing to learn anything to pull me away from this. To take me to another level of understanding. For I do not believe she is righteous or honorable. And I will set you free as much as I can. I will do what I need to do for you.
Proximus, you don't owe me anything, and there is very little you can do for me. Save yourself.
No one has ever sacrificed themselves for me. It is usually the other way around. I am bound by my duty. What must I do to get out of that?
That is where I can't help you, and that is where you have to help yourself. Don't end up like me, Proximus. You're not too far yet, but soon you will be. And with that, we're going to come over to Scarlet. Scarlet, is there a point where you make it back to your cabin before nightfall?
Yes.
Okay. When you do, your tome opens, as it is wont to do when Eula has something she wants to say to you. And you receive your writing as it appears, as if it's always been written there, the ink fully dried. Scarlet, darling, congratulations on your prison break. I'm so proud of you. You did so well. I see you have picked up some extra crewmates. That's fine. Just remember what I taught you. Use them for what they are and don't get too attached. I trust you to do what you can with the item, learn what you can, use it as you will. Do bring it back to me when you understand it fully. If you need to, I can send you information on where to learn more about it. Oddly enough, despite what happened to Port Elios, his island might actually be the one place where you could learn most about it. They did have a wonderful library there, and you know how books are so rare these days. If you need to learn more about it, if you can't figure it out, and that's okay. I know you're not the smartest, and that's all right. You can always go to Dionysi. And Scarlet, I do want to reiterate, don't get too attached to your crewmates. You remember what happened last time you got attached. And Scarlet, you tend to remember the very specific instance that she is referring to. It's a very specific person. And you, without even reading it in words, you know the threat that she's essentially throwing at you. And Scarlet, memories start to come back to you. And it's the memories of someone that you cared deeply for, who cared deeply for you. It was someone who, even on the Fen, was able to provide you with security and the kind of attention that you didn't want, but the kind of attention you deserved. And even now, you've been hiding these thoughts, pushing them back because they do hurt. And yeah, you can remember, his arms around you and the sweet words that he whispered to you. And you remember when Eula found out. And you remember what she asked you to do. And you remember that you followed those orders. And it was the hardest thing you ever had to do, casting that Eldritch Blast, ending the life of the man that you loved. And you remember as his life left his eyes, the last words were, "I love you and I forgive you." And you finish what Eula had written to you. And it's just, last words are just, "Remember poor Corvus. Love, Eula."
I throw the tome against the wall and leave my barracks.
Okay. The pages, maybe they rip, maybe the book's spine breaks. It doesn't matter, it'll be fine. It's not the first time you've thrown that book. Night falls. Is there anything any of you are doing before then?
Does Winnie have the piece is with her?
Yeah, she would have been kind of working with them in front of
Winnie
you.
always has the pieces with her.
Yeah.
Do we want to put them together before everybody gets here? I know we agreed on later tonight, but just a thought. I haven't had this good of a conversation about the stars in a very long time, so I'm very intrigued.
Okay, so here's the thing. I want to say yes, but because it's an astrolabe, I sort of feel like it should be out on the deck.
And at this point, Scarlett's
Good
kind
idea.
of right.
Good point.
Like, the fewer people, the better. There's always going to be Captain Everhart, of course. What Winnie would like to like check the deck and just see like how busy it is. Just as like a curiosity.
Do you
Want to see how big the deck is?
No, check how busy the deck is right now.
Busy
Yeah.
the deck is.
I
Okay,
assume the
that's-
deck is
I-
the same size it usually is. That'd be very
Yes.
good.
So you cast
Eldritch
I
Horror.
I showed you my deck. Please respond.
cast reduce on the deck.
Oh god. Look, Winnie made that mistake once, okay?
Uh-huh.
Like,
I don't think you have the range to shrink the ship, but please don't try. Okay. At nighttime, I'm assuming you're doing this at the changing of the order, essentially. So most of the crew does go to sleep when night falls. There's maybe I'm going to use this term again, and I do have to specify because it is D&D, a skeleton crew that is not literal skeletons. I have to say it.
We can change that.
Yeah, no, on a ship like this, it's not that far off. So there's only the base amount of crew you would need to operate this ship at night. So let's say 10 people, and they're spread pretty far apart. The ship is kind of sailing a little bit slower at night as well, just because it doesn't have as much crew to operate. But it does sail continuously through, which does make the Innocence a little bit faster than most other ships.
how far until nightfall?
It's nightfall now. The crew has changed. The watches have changed.
Oh.
Yes,
Scarlett
it is
just asked
nightfall.
us to wait for nightfall. So yeah, let's do this.
Scarlett's on
Listen.
her way.
I don't know who the third piece belongs to, but 2/3 of the astrolabe belongs to us, so I see no reason. Oh, I don't know that. So I see no reason why we can't do what we want with our property.
I mean, technically speaking, you know what? It's just not worth getting into logistics. Yeah, she's gonna hold it out, and like present it for you to like drop in the third piece.
At this point, I will undo like the leather from around my neck, kind of unwrap it from where it was threaded through. And I just kind of want to look at it for a second before letting the magnetic pole go.
I would actually like to think, just to specify, I feel like Winnie would have like some like little leather work gloves on or something over her usual like set, like just in case. It's a little warm.
Okay. So you are dropping the piece into place, and yeah, very magnetically it does fit right in. Again, the objects are warm. They are glowing. The symbol's glowing even brighter than the object itself.
And her goggles. She's gonna just like hold up her goggles.
Yeah. Okay. How much longer do the antlers last? Remind me.
The antlers. So her eyes are gone at this point. She still has
No eyes. Yep. When he has no eyes left.
The antlers are still there for 5 more days. And she still has the decanter of endless water mouth for 1 day.
Out of her mouth. Yes.
Yeah. Why do you say like that? You gave her the elixir. I don't know what you expected.
I did. The things I let you all do to this game.
No,
they I'm
didn't
so
ask
proud of
for
every
it.
You
one of
gave it to...
Yeah.
I did not
I
ask.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked for multiple pets. That was... And I have
Mandix.
multiple Tressums, so...
The pieces, Acacia, as you drop the piece, it solidly clicks into place. And The pieces kind of all glow simultaneously, and Winnie, in your hand, you actually you can all see the secondary wheel and the pin all start spinning around. It's a very golden compass. But you see that the symbols are all trying to interlock. It's changing back and forth, almost like a lockpick trying to break into a safe. And then they all just lock into place. And the glowing stops.
And as I know how to read an astrolabe, what does it tell me?
Which star are you holding up to?
Is there a bear-like constellation, like an Ursa Major or Minor, for example?
Sure. There's probably a bear constellation.
Yeah.
I will say that the symbols on this aren't any language that you would read, so you don't know exactly how to read it. But it is a pin that you can hold up. You can hold it in your hand.
If there's like the equivalent of like a North Star or something, it would be that. If not, it would be another one of the like major points. Consistent constellation points. Yeah.
Okay. You hold it up to that star, and you're actually able to, as you look up through the astrolabe, the night sky appears different. You've seen the northern lights, and it's as if the entire sky is made of northern lights. The black of the night sky starts to glimmer, almost like an oil slick. And you can see how different stars interconnect, almost lines created through them, where you can see the constellations themselves and how they are connected, but not the constellations you're familiar with. You can see the North Star, but these aren't constellations you would know. Definitely not constellations that you learn to navigate by.
Acacia?
And you can see beyond
Acacia.
Asian. Yeah. No, you're okay. You ask
May I
questions.
look through?
Yeah, you can't see that from there.
Well, I was gonna... Derek, are there any stars that I know of that are important from the stories I did learn from other centaurs back on Sotiria that hold special meaning or importance?
There are many, which is the tough thing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to think, because Acacia hasn't shared anything about that, so Acacia has her information, everybody else's.
Winnie will hand over the astrolabe because where's Acacia gonna go?
Right.
And she's gonna like dig out like a little notebook and just like start like amending her notes that she'd been taking on it so far.
I'd like to choose one at random.
Okay.
Maybe one that has personal preference to me.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to look through it.
Yeah, there are definitely stars to navigate through. And again, you see very much what Winnie saw, and you can see how some of the stars interconnect. But this is a night sky that is devoid of artificial light, so it is full of stars. And it's nothing's... I mean, you're not sure what's supposed to happen, but you can see in almost a magical sense the way the sky is portrayed, but nothing's really getting anything off.
And I think the first time that you've been with me, you see a very broad, genuine smile. As I stare up at this. I'm just playing around with it.
It's kind of amazing, right? I didn't know what to expect, but that's beyond expectations.
Wait till Dad hears about this.
Let's go wake him up. Did he already go to bed?
I don't know. He's got weird hours.
That's fair. We should probably get the others.
I guess.
As you all turn, as you're all talking, Proximus, you feel kind of a cold on your back. And as you turn around, Callisto is standing there. I see you put it back together. Well?
I am kind of just like half paying attention. Yep, we put it back together. Looking at the sky.
Wait, she said that to us or Proximus?
All of you. Yeah, she is standing behind
Oh, I thought Acacia and I were
and
alone up
Proximus.
there.
Sorry, she's a rather quiet individual.
Sorry, I thought we were.
Oh, I thought you were all doing this all in front of each other. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Sorry,
No,
no,
we were
I-
very waiting for that bell to ring, and then we were gone.
I misunderstood.
We
I
got way too
apologize.
excited that we did it without Scarlet and Proximus.
Okay, that's on me. Never
Yeah,
mind.
Scarlet was just making her way to the others.
Then I'm sorry. Then yes, Callisto would then address Winnie and Acacia then, since you were on the deck of the ship.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of what's your favorite? You should look through it. Tell us what you see. It's something.
I know.
Oh, you know how to read you have to know how to read an astrolabe. I wouldn't believe you.
I do, but I don't know how to read Elder. Do you, Winnie?
I'm gonna take that in a flat tone, and just say no, but it's neither here nor there. We'll get there. We'll figure something out.
Wish I did. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Still looking up.
I mean, putting
There's
it
very
together
few
was
who
step
can.
one.
Well,
Do you know whom these people might be?
I don't. There's very few resources on the Elders anymore. I only knew about them as stories when I was a girl.
oh, you.
Stories about the stars and what came before them.
It's a very interesting story. I'm surprised more people don't know about it.
What came before the stars?
Some people see it as superstition.
Where's the fun in that, though?
No, but okay, what did come before the stars? Didn't you say my ghost mentor, Cassandra, had hinted at something about this material? Had she not?
She did.
Okay.
She did. Yeah. She knew that it was beyond ancient. She
Okay.
didn't necessarily know its connection to the stars.
Okay.
Winnie, you can roll history to see what you remember from Cassandra, or you can roll persuasion if you
Nope.
would like Callisto to tell you
Nope.
her story.
I mean,
And
yes,
Acacia, you can.
but oh,
Keisha's partially distracted, pitching in where necessary.
I take it back. I will risk that persuasion if I can do that. after
Okay.
that.
Yes.
That will be a 22.
All right.
Just so much better at history.
Winnie, as I remember it, the scholars say that long ago, in a time before elves, in a time before the gods, in a time before time itself, the planes collided.
They were a multiverse soup. A lot of chaos. A lot of fun stuff.
And
Doesn't
from this
actually sound
chaotic
fun.
impact was born the world of Damaris. Before it was covered in water. This
They say-
world, No, please, Acacia.
No, I'm just popping in where I can. You're skipping a lot of parts, honestly.
I'm trying to do the quick and dirty.
You're skipping a lot of parts. Okay? Long,
He's-
short of it. Elders, soup, universal soup. They split up it into nice little places of the plains. Created gods, Damaris. This is a very, very, very SparkNote version, but
You're skipping a lot of parts.
yes. But I'm at least glossing over it. You went from elders to Damaris. You didn't even talk about how they separated the planes and got rid of things and how they.
I was
they
getting
died.
there.
Scarlet Proximus, you're just in time for story time that started like 10 minutes ago. It's really interesting, but it's like taking the long way round.
It sounds more like an argument to me.
The elders came before everything except for chaos and order. They were perhaps born from that. No one really knows what or who the elders really were, but they are what the gods and everything else came from. They structured Damaris from the chaos of the primordials so that beings like us could survive. And then they disappeared. And no one is exactly sure why.
Some people think they disappeared. Some people think other things, but
Like just
No.
poof, gone one day? Or they left? Or like something happened?
Maybe.
Some people think that they're still up there, but fractured.
Into the stars themselves, or some of the stars. Fragments, elder shards. And these are objects of incredible power. And some people have spent their entire lives, and sometimes more than their entire lives, in search of these incredibly powerful things. These things that can alter reality itself. Stronger than even a wish spell.
At this point, I'll lower the astrolabe. And if Scarlet has arrived, gently hand it over to her. Some people think an elder shard is what caused the flooding.
Huh.
They are objects that can make a person a god if they wanted to, or a god something even greater. They can change everything for a person, but they can also be very corrupted, depending on who gets their hands on them.
And is that what this is, Callisto?
This isn't an elder shard.
But they can find them.
I think so. You just need to know how to work it.
Do you know?
And this is what Eula wants to find.
Exactly.
Scarlet.
We
Kaila?
have it.
I was just asking if I can get a read on Scarlet as Acacia. Just, I don't know how you want to handle that, but thought process. Feelings.
I'm not gonna make you roll for it. There is something on Scarlet's mind. She is preoccupied. She is underliningly seething beneath. It is ever so slowly just bleeding out into her body language. I will hand the astrolabe to Winnie. Winnie, you keep this. You don't tell anyone it's complete.
Okay.
The piece that we thought was it was not it. It was the wrong thing. We were on the wrong lead.
So then, where do we go now?
We go to where Ilios came from.
The
Who's Ilios?
monastery?
Ilios was someone under Eula's protection.
Great
But
fighting.
we could no longer protect him. He had to go inland. He found something, and I anticipate on figuring out exactly what he found. I think we'll find out more information about this too, in the Elder Shards.
I fear that Eula will know that we are having this conversation.
She won't. She only knows of things when I tell her. She will not know
So-
of this.
We are all agreeing not to tell her anything, correct?
I'm ordering it. There's
I
no
have
agreeing.
reason to.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want to make sure we are all on the same page.
Scarlet, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
He and I are independent contractors and have no allegiance.
15.
When you say I order it, you would notice more than anyone else, there is a flash of color behind the black eyes of Callisto Everhart. And it is, weirdly enough, the color of your hair. And she nods. She says, "The ship is yours. We will sail for Dionysi.
Perfect. We go immediately. We go silently. We pick up nobody. We drop off Curio so they can get safe passage home.
Along the way.
Yes.
Okay. I need everyone to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh,
That was regrettably not what I was expecting.
right.
Ooh, 20 for 25.
12.
Oh, dirty 20.
I got a 14. I just rolled low.
Okay, it was a 12 from Scarlet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Scarlet and Acacia, you hit the deck somewhat hard. You take 2 points of damage as the ship comes to a sudden stop. As if you've run aground, oddly enough. But there's no possible way. There's no ground around here. There's no shoals or anything like that. And it is at this point that you start to see tentacles rising from the side of the ship. And they are coming straight for Winnie. And I'm going to need everybody to roll for initiative. Please.
Are my Kraken senses tingling?
You know what? I will give you this before we roll for initiative. Go ahead and just roll nature, arcana.
Ooh, I get.
Yeah.
Winnie, thank you for that shield. I get advantage on initiative.
15
I have 13 for initiative.
for that arcana check.
Can I also try and figure out what this thing is?
Sure.
Just kidding. That's a 10.
And a 9 for me. Natural 1 and an 8.
What
I
was
got
the
a
roll?
7 on
What was the
initiative.
roll to determine what it is? Nature or
Nature or arcana.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna roll.
Okay. Scarlet, far too small to be a kraken, but big. You're not exactly sure what this is. Okay, so I'm sorry. Initiatives one more time. Winnie, what was yours?
13.
13. Okay. Proximus, you had a 9.
9, yeah.
All right. Scarlet
7.
Hey,
and Acacia.
22.
it didn't count as a long rest between when we got to the ship and now, did it?
It was more than 8 hours. Everybody's gotten a long rest.
Oh, we've all gotten a long rest.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
This is a long rest. This is also the resolution of the black spot.
Okay, cool. So I will take that off.
Ooh, yes, all right. Good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if who's steering the ship? Callisto's talking to us.
Callisto was going back to steer the ship. Yes.
She just like walked away, left it chill. Like,
No, Connery was.
Well,
Connery
Connery
was-
had gone to sleep. The ship was essentially idling straight
I mean,
ahead.
like
there's a lock chain to keep a ship steering straight
Yeah.
ahead.
I
Yeah,
was just
so-
wondering if like she had finally let someone else take over, but that makes sense. Okay. Is it possible
so-
for Winnie to do a quick magical tinkering with the astrolabe before she shoves it somewhere safe?
And what kind of magical tinkering?
She wants to just slap on like a quick light source before she shoves it in her pocket, so that it's easier to keep track of, like, if somehow it does slip loose.
She can certainly do that on her turn.
Okay.
Okay. Which she might want to do because the attacks are coming towards Winnie. You see several tentacles are striking out towards Winnie, and they actually seem to be grabbing towards the astrolabe. So these are going to be, let's see, that's a dirty 20 and that's an 18. Yep. Okay. Yeah, both those are going to hit. So that is going to be Let's see. 30 points of bludgeoning damage. And Winnie, you are grappled.
Okay.
As the tentacles kind of wrap around you, and then one of them is actually like directly around the hand that has the astrolabe. The other one is kind of grabbing around your shoulders. And you are restrained at this point. So on your turn, you can make an escape attempt. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And with that, Acacia, it is your turn. That was the surprise round of this thing, essentially.
I'm assuming it's right there.
It is essentially pulling itself onto the ship. The tentacles are long enough that they have reached over the side, and they're kind of coming after Winnie. So as this thing is pulling itself up, you can't see exactly what it is, but you can see that there is a large form which is ascending the side of the Innocents.
In that case, I would like to pull out the dragon tooth dagger and give it a nice old stab.
Okay.
Especially
Stab away.
since it is very D&D Beyond told me I got a nat 20.
But nat 20 it is.
Do I get
D&D
sneak
Beyond
attack
normally
off?
isn't so kind.
Do I get sneak attack off?
You absolutely
Dude,
do. Yeah,
I
Winnie
saw
is
it.
within
30
melee.
total? Holy crap.
Yeah, I got a 30.
I'm on D&D Beyond right now. Like, whoa. That's awesome.
So I have 10d6 and 2d4.
Go for it.
Hold on. 10d6, 2d4. That is 55 points of damage. 56, sorry.
56. All right. Acacia, very well done on your turn. 56 points of damage towards the tentacles. I'm going to say...
yo.
I do have... Am I able to maybe not take it, but am I able to get my hand around the astrolabe? But not take it out of the hands?
Yes, you can essentially, like, cup your hand over the astrolabe with Winnie. And I will actually give you this. With 55 points of damage, I kind of like doing this for... Sorry, it was 56. I apologize. With doing that much damage, you sever the tentacle that is wrapped around her arm. Winnie is still restrained and grappled, but that arm is free.
It's kind of obvious that it's tried to go for the astrolabe.
Oh, yeah.
As my bonus action, if I can get my hand at least around the astrolabe, not yanking it out of her hands, I would like to manifest one of my pinkish blades and expend an energy die and throw the blade at a spot. Oh, it's only 10 feet away. God damn it. It's fine. 10 feet away. And I would like to teleport to it with the astrolabe.
Okay, so you're getting further away from this thing.
You're gonna have to fight Winnie for it, though. She's not letting go.
I'm trying to teleport with it. So
You're gonna have to...
Okay.
Oh,
Contested strength check, then.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna crit.
If you guys both crit, then what happens?
Well, it's a check,
Yeah.
not a save, so it would be whoever's bonus is higher at that point.
Yeah, assuming
I
we're
guess.
both using our crits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I don't know what your bonus is. I think
Winnie,
it's better
what's
than
your
mine.
strength bonus?
I think
It's
it's better than
0.
mine. Oh, then I'm gonna crit for a 21.
That's cheating! Oh no!
Plus, that's cheating.
No, wait!
I would like to argue, though, I am teleporting.
Mm.
Some kind of advantage there.
Winnie, I'm willing to hear you out.
She's just gonna say, I've got this! Go do something! I've got it! I promise, I've got it! It's just gonna come for you. I'll be safe. It'll be safe. Just go.
For your rebuttal.
I'm just gonna talk to you. Like
This is debate
If
all
I
over
can,
again.
I can teleport out of the grasp. You're not so lucky right now.
I can turn to mist. It's fine. And
Acacia, are you teleporting or not? This is
I'm not going to
6 seconds,
teleport.
I
That is a
swear to
fair
God.
point. That is a fair
Okay.
point. She can turn into mist. I'm not
Okay,
that.
all right. You are
with the
not
astrolabe,
teleporting.
I will point out that that's with
so,
the astrolabe.
Can I rebuke my
You certainly
teleportation? Okay,
Yes.
fine. Then I will.
So Winnie, it is your turn.
Does that mean we're not using our crits?
Yeah, I would like to.
Because we
not
talked
use
it out.
You can retain
Yeah,
your
yeah, we talked it
crits.
out.
Winnie is going to
I feel like you lose them.
is going to smash a little vial at her on her feet, and it's gonna like eat up away at her over the astrolabe and like all of her stuff. And she's going to use gaseous form and turn into gas.
Okay. I need to remind myself about.
That includes everything she's carrying
Okay. Once.
and wearing. That'd be weird if it didn't include what I was wearing. And I can't talk or manipulate objects. And I can't drop, use, or otherwise interact with what I'm carrying.
Okay. So you have assumed a gaseous form.
I have.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for your turn?
Because I'm not nearly as useful as Acacia in this fight, and if I can just protect the astrolabe, I will do that. I will. Does that mean I'm still grappled?
No. You're gas. Winnie has gas.
That's fair. I'm gonna. Oh, and I can enter and occupy the space of another creature. So I'm going to.
Yes, Bear. Winnie is a fart.
Thanks, Mare. I'm going to fly a little bit like away, not like just like up and over, so like I can see things. Also, I'm curious to see if it's tracking me now that the astrolabe is incorporeal.
Winnie, as you fly a little bit up, you can actually see kind of over the side of the ship the full form of this thing. It is octopoidal in nature, almost like well, maybe even closer to a squid. It has a beak, which is actually external, whereas an octopus would have it at the center of the tentacles. This thing has a beak, 2 large yellow eyes with kind of conflated irises, and that are glowing and do seem to be tracking you as the tentacles begin to kind of whip and go to move towards you. The most identifying thing about this creature is that its upper mantle is covered in seemingly like armor and human items and treasure. Winnie, you're a treasure hunter. Go ahead and roll me nature with advantage.
That's 19.
Winnie, this is a Morkoth.
How do I feel about the ship's odds against a Morkoth?
The ship would probably be fine against a Morkoth. Individuals, less so. You as the team, maybe a little more so. Morkoths, you would know, are treasure hoarders, almost on par with dragons in a lot of ways, but they don't keep the hoard in a singular space. Some of them do have layers. Most of them bedeck themselves in their treasure and use it as armor. They almost have a kind of adhesive nature to their mantles. So this one seems to have shields and weapons and gold and like literal like treasure chests just all kind of stuck to its outside that it uses to, you know, you're not really sure of the exact nature of them, but you kind of assume a lot of animals would do this for mating purposes. But you also know that these do have a level of intelligence to them, a high level of intelligence, even telepathy. And you know that they are very persuasive, if they want to be. Okay. With that, Proximus, it is your turn.
Okay. So Proximus is gonna. How far is he away from the head of it?
You're probably about 15 feet. If you were standing towards like the center of the ship, it is coming over the guardrail on the outside. Yeah.
Okay. So he's gonna move 5 feet in. He's gonna reach out his hand and he's gonna say "Gilof van Yonon Slak." And as he reaches out, his hand's gonna glow white, and he's gonna do a vow of enmity as a bonus action. And in his right hand, as you see his eyes start to smoke and shadows grow around him, Proximus will raise his right hand, pointing 2 fingers out at the, what is it called?
Morkoth.
The Morkoth. At this point, he doesn't care. And he's going to start to chant, Skadura, Skadura, Skadura. And a blade of pure shadow is going to extend from his hand. And as he brings it up to his side, he's going to close the distance and take his swing.
Okay.
That's
Go for it.
Shadow Blade, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
18 plus. Sorry. 26? 18 plus 8? Is that right?
Yeah. 18 plus 8. Yeah.
So I'm going to pump a smite into that, a divine smite. So 3d8. That was satisfying. 8, 9, 10, 11. Plus 16, 17. Ugh. What did I say the first number was? I'm sorry. Gosh.
No.
So 28 damage as he slices in and leaves like a shadowy black mark right on his face because fuck it.
Yeah, you actually have a pretty deep cut, almost going from the brow of this thing down past where its beak is. And it lets out this horrifying, otherworldly shriek. And with that, is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Anything else for you? Okay.
No, that's it.
With that, it is this thing's turn. It is going to cast Hypnosis. As a 30-foot cone of magical energy. So I'm going to need all of you to roll a Wisdom saving throw, please. Oh yeah, Winnie, you too. Yeah. You're gassed, but it's still hypnosis would still work.
Wisdom saving throw.
You could be a charmed fart.
Nat 20
18?
for a 23.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
18.
Okay.
17.
18.
Okay. Acacia, Scarlet, Proximus. You see this thing's eyes begin to glow much more like intensely. And you feel these kind of waves rush over you. You feel the voice of this thing, the telepathic, horrifying voice of this thing in your head. But it doesn't really take effect. Proximus, you've seen worse things than this. Scarlet, you have experienced, you've lived through, you've done worse things than this could ever do. Acacia, you have your psychic block, but Winnie, it's a new friend. And it really wants the astrolabe. If you could give it the astrolabe, that would be like so great. And then you go to hang out in its lair. It's got lots of treasure, and you love treasure. And this thing loves treasure. You have so much in common. And it has so many like hands to hold. It's got to be really good at hugs.
Even if she wasn't hypnotized, that's a really good argument.
Okay.
No one listen to anyone who just said they're gonna give you really good hugs. Okay? Don't do it.
Lie.
Stranger
They always
danger.
lie.
Winnie only
Yeah.
has a 10-foot movement speed, y'all.
Oh.
That is it for its turn. Scarlet, it is your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead on it.
Okay. What kind of save is that?
Wisdom.
Okay. Hey, I got crits. I'm going to crit on that. And this thing does have spell reflection. So it is going to reflect that spell at the entity who's done the most damage to it, which was Acacia. So, Scarlet, go ahead and roll that damage.
Has Acacia taken
So
any damage?
Acacia does get to do a save. So Acacia, go ahead and do a wisdom save.
no.
Okay, that's fair. What's your spell save DC?
16.
I fail.
Oh no.
I do need to check something to see if I can do this with this type of attack. Because this is psychic energy.
It's necrotic, I
Necrotic.
believe.
Is it
It's necrotic.
Toll of the Dead is
Yeah.
necrotic. And you have not taken any damage, so you're not going to take the
I have
extra.
taken damage.
Have you?
I fell to the deck.
You did.
It doesn't say that I can't do this. So what I would like to do is use my uncanny dodge to half the damage. It just
Okay.
says when an attacker you can see hits you with an attack,
That's fine.
but it doesn't specify what kind of attack or damage. So
Typically, this would be a melee attack, but that's fine.
so
Oh, good, because I rolled 2 12s.
so I take 12 damage.
You take 12 necrotic damage.
Love it.
Oh.
Oh no.
It's fine.
Scarlet, is there anything else for your turn?
The body of it is still like in the water. It's just tentacles on the ship.
Okay, on its turn, it did pull itself up to where it is essentially like kind of crouched on the edge of the ship. So it's still kind of on the edge, but no, it is not in the water.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Back to top of the order with Acacia.
I'm not a spellcaster now, so this is really easy. I'm gonna attack.
Uh-huh.
And because hell yeah. That is an 18 to hit with the dragon tooth dagger.
18 will hit. I don't believe it's within melee of anyone anymore, so I don't think you get sneak attack on that.
Okay, so it's Proximus left out of range.
Well, he only moved 5 feet forward out of 15, so he was still 10 feet away.
Okay.
So it is, not engaged.
All right, then I will just do a straight up attack, which is going to be a total of 10 damage.
Okay.
And I will use my one of my psychic blades to do an off arm attack with my bonus action,
Okay.
which is going to be 18 again.
Mm-hmm.
For I can't do math. 7 points. Oh wait, no, it's a D6, not a D4. Which is going to be 9 points of damage.
Okay. I like being honest with my players. This thing has 1 hit point left. But it is the end of Acacia's turn, and Winnie is charmed. Winnie, new friend.
I mean, I can only move 10 feet, so I'm gonna, like, head towards my new friend.
You're just
but
going to fart on over there. Yep.
I am, just like a little poot. But I was also, like, up. So, like, really, I'm just kind of back where I was before.
Mm-hmm. But you all can see that Winnie is essentially holding out the gaseous form of this astrolabe towards this Morkoth, as it is just luring her closer and closer like an anglerfish with the glowing of its eyes. With that, Proximus, it is your turn.
Oh, I see all of this happening. And again, I go in. I will try to cut off the gaseous form of Winnie.
You just go straight through her.
Get in between. Yeah, I'm going to get in between her and this Morkoth, and I'm going to take a swipe at it. Actually, I'm going to take 2 swipes at it.
Okay.
Was really crit fishing. Damn.
You have advantages in crits. If
Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, nah. it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. So 16 plus 8 is 24.
Is that 24 to hit?
24 to hit.
That hits. Do literally any damage. Do 1 point of damage.
All zeros. That doesn't happen. 17 points of damage as he swipes through with his shadow blade.
Okay. Michael, how does Proximus finish this thing off? Anything?
He wants to Proximus jumps onto one of the tentacles leading to the head, where the beak and the eyes are, and he's gonna run up and just slam the blade right in between the eyes and it's psychic damage, so no blood splurt, but just
Sure. This thing basically blasted you with a psychic attack, and you somewhat do the same as you drive your shadow blade through this thing into where you assume its brain to be. And you watch as the eyes lose their glow and the pupils, the strange contorted pupils, roll back into its head. And it just sloughs off with almost like the release of a suction cup, just falls back into the water with a loud splash. And is gone. Yes, just like that.
Is Winnie awake now?
Yes, Winnie, you are no longer charmed. The charm has ended. That wasn't a friend.
It was a liar. She's got. I guess Proximus would be like right there. She's going to press the astrolabe into his hand, and she's gonna dive over the side and check out some of that treasure, because fuck that false friend. She's gonna take some of that loot.
Okay.
It can only sink so fast.
It can only sink so fast. Sure. Winnie, go ahead.
Winnie, where are you going?
Be right back. It's fine. Probably. Oh gosh.
Yeah, you do also have to realize that the ship is moving, and I'm wondering how fast Winnie can swim.
Winnie's mad, and the ship was not moving. It was stationary.
The ship hit the Morkoth and then started moving when the Morkoth was no longer under it.
Which was 2 seconds ago.
The ship moves fast.
Yeah, how fast does the ship move in a turn? Eva?
Fast.
Oh, what? No one's gonna be like, oh, hey, wait. Winnie.
I don't know.
Okay, well, fine.
I'll risk
That's up to everybody else.
anything.
This isn't my ship.
Winnie is putting her trust in her friends that they're not gonna just leave her.
I wouldn't leave you, but I don't have anything to stop you if you just jump in.
You don't need to stop me.
No
You just need
idea
to
what
say,
you were doing.
hey, Miss Callisto, could
Winnie,
you
you're
just
fine. You're gonna get treasure.
wait for 2
Discommunication.
seconds?
Drop anchor for just a second.
Man
You know how easy an
overboard.
anchor is to get back up.
Help overboard.
Yeah, man overboard.
Yeah.
Well, Winnie overboard.
I know, that's enough.
Callisto's like,
Not this shit again.
I'm gonna get my ship taken from me.
Winnie, go ahead and roll a d20. I'm debating what I actually want to call this. If I want to call it sleight of hand, I think I want to call it sleight of hand.
oh yeah? Wow,
Yeah, I
Merry
know.
Christmas to me.
I was gonna consider it a luck roll, but this, we'll call it sleight of hand because you are grabbing stuff off this sinking dead behemoth.
Okay, we're re-rolling that. Ooh, not like that. We're just doing an advantage, not a crit. Calm down. Okay, so that is a 27.
27.
Oh wait, no. Is that 27? It's double proficiency, right? So it's 27 or 31. I don't know. Math is hard. I'm too tired and gave this.
Regardless, it is very high. Winnie, you are laden with treasures, all of which I am going to have to sit down and sort out for next time.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. Okay.
Thanks for that black spot, Wolf.
Yeah.
Thought to myself, a Morkoth, those are fun. Here's an oceanic monster I don't get to use all the time. All right, Winnie, you are again laden with treasure. So actually, I'm going to need an athletics check from you
Sure.
because you're trying to swim with your arms full. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. Nope. That's fair.
She's got like stuff shoved in her shirts.
just stuffed in the cleavage. Yeah.
That is. Remember earlier when I was like, I'm so glad
It's a
I'm wearing
great-
half plates still. That is an 18.
Okay.
Wait.
All right. You maybe lose like one smaller thing, but you were able to successfully get back to the ship, and to help you out, Sammy appears. And as you break the surface, Sammy flies down, the Aarakocra bosun, and kind of helps you out. And he goes, "Well, Aki's priorities, right?"
Hey, thanks.
All right. You get back to the ship. We're going to leave off there for the night because we've run just a little bit over. But yes, the Innocence is headed south through Imperial territory as you head towards the island of Dionysi. Winnie has attained some treasures. You have defeated a Morkoth, and you have assembled the astrolabe. What comes next? Let's find out. Next time on Horizons Call, I'm going to have these very lovely people tell you a little bit about themselves. I don't think we hit sea shanties, so hey, I don't have to do that this time. Save it for next time. Just a heads up, everybody, we will be taking the next 2 weeks off. Next week in this time slot, we're going to be playing a one-shot of a dinosaur racing game using 5e rules, kind of set in the port of Nyanzaru on Chult, which has like a rule set for dinosaur racing. So the very lovely Eva will be joining me for that, as well as Elisa, Strix, and Alex, Curio. So definitely check out next week for that, and then the week after that, we'll see. I don't know. I've been writing a one-shot about tiefling toddlers, so we'll see if I can, or not even a one-shot, but a one-page game, so we'll see if we can get that done in time. Either way, it's been a lovely, lovely time with each of these people, and once again, thank you to each and every one of you for joining us. Thank you for donating throughout to support this cast and to also support St. Jude. To reiterate a little bit about St. Jude, there are several milestones that we have hit already. Another milestone still left to hit for a giveaway of Call to the Sea. There are incentives throughout. $5 gets your name on the board behind the lovely Eva. $15 gets you a postcard. I believe it's $100 is, I think I skipped something, but $100 gets you a drawing, a poorly done animal drawing, like that snake, that very actually half decent snake. And you also get entered to win character art from the incredible Mikyl, who did the character art for this game. And on and on. You can check all that out at Eva's Twitter account, and also Toby the Botter will help me out on that as well. All that said, I'm going to let these people, like I said, tell you a little bit about themselves, where you can find them, and more of their incredible work. So we will begin again with the wonderful Mare.
Hi, I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. The next 2 weeks, my Saturday games, so this one and the one I run on my channel, Invisible Sun, Secrets Beyond the Suns at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, will be off for the next 2 weeks, and we will be returning on the 12th. I think that's what it is, right? It's definitely the next 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be back the 12th. It's going to be great. Tomorrow night on Open for Adventure, I will be running probably part 1 of 2 of the finale of my Veil of Shadows game, where my players who ventured to the Shadowfell to close the rift are going to meet their BBEG, who is played by the guest, the Kappa Chris on Twitter.
Oh!
Yeah, it's going to be real dope, y'all. It's going to be really cool. So check us out at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Open for Adventure on Tuesdays, every other Tuesdays, starting back up at the end of May. I play my Artalock River on Graham Cracker's channel in Anarian's Rest. And right now I have my player and contributor form open for a Pride stream. Pride charity stream I'll be running on June 26th. In just a second, when the next person goes, I'll put the form in chat if you want to sign up and help us raise money for a really good cause. I'll be raising money for GLSEN, which strives to create safe spaces in schools and safe spaces and acceptance in schools for LGBTQ youth. I think that's it. I don't think I missed anything. I'm going to go get that link if anyone is interested in signing up.
Yes, check out Mare's Twitter for anything else, and yeah, definitely apply because Mare is a fantastic game master and has a channel of their own. And definitely, the more and more you participate with Mare, the happier you'll be. She's an incredible person. I'm just gonna say right now. They also made these gloves, and I love them very much. My Dragon Skull gloves that keep me warm, even in the summer when my air conditioner like blows directly onto me. It's great. Thank you, Mare. Michael, tell us about your lovely stuff.
Hi, I'm Mikyl Sandoval, and you can find me at Mikyl Sandoval on IG and also Twitter. This is all I do right now. Things to come aboard, and trying to do more and still have time for my regular life. I don't know. Yeah, hi, bye, and see you later. It's been great.
We'll see you later. Thank you, Michael.
Do we do
Nervous.
favorite moments? Favorite part?
Oh,
Favorite- I can never remember if we do that with this.
We sometimes do, we sometimes don't. If you have a favorite moment, you are more than welcome.
This is how it happens.
Once again, thank you to Michael for doing the incredible character art. And again, if you donate $100 to St. Jude, you can enter the giveaway to get character art from Michael. Obviously, incredibly talented. Also, the City of Shadows game has art done by Michael. So yeah, any kind of character, obviously, Tritons, Minotaurs, humanoids, everything else under the sun.
Bring them on.
Fantastic.
The crazier, the better.
Thank you, Michael. Kaila, tell us about your lovely self.
Hi, I'm Kaila. I am, oh gosh, I'm not very good at this anymore. Hi, I play a lot of tabletop RPGs, and I paint things over at my own channel. I play a D&D 5e campaign every other Tuesday on Craftic Studios, where I play our half-elf paladin Diana, who may or may not be shady AF. And I'm here Saturdays playing Scarlet, our warlock. Every other Saturday, I'm on LD's channel doing Smutty Saturday, and you can find me on my own channel on Thursdays, where I paint things with miscellaneous people and fun things. Coming up soon, I will be over on the Ally Max channel for Pride Month shenanigans, so you can find me there. Ally is in chat. We'll be there soon, but all in all, I am a lot of faces in a lot of places, and I enjoy being here. I do have a favorite moment that I am going to share, because I felt so bad that I broke Mikyl. Derek and I solidly just took Mikyl and just crumpled him up in a little ball. Just
That was definitely the best. You guys are so great.
That was so good. Can I backtrack and say my favorite part?
Certainly.
I love the constant budding father-son relationship between Proximus and the Goliath leader.
So that's just Michael picking up on my natural dad energy, and I'm not mad about it.
Oh, no. So good.
All right. Well, even because it is your channel, I leave you the prerogative. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to do my stuff?
I'm gonna panic because I was right. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll leave you to last. Hi, everybody. I am Derek Sword. If you want to find me and my projects, the best place is Twitter at dsword16. I am over on Graham Cracker's channel for 2 different games. I am part of Shards Venarian, which is playing this Tuesday and every other Tuesday, where I play a Gnoll Ranger named Verban. Every Friday, I'm on Goldshine Investigation Agency, where I play a swampy bugbear named Griaz. And if you can't tell, I love monsters. The best way to tell is I'm the co-host of the podcast Monster Crush. So if you enjoy cryptids and creatures and love learning about them and also think they might be a little sexy, check out Monster Crush wherever podcasts are found. My co-host Heavenly and I talk about different just monsters and abominations and what makes them who they are and why we should find them beautiful through and because of their horrific aspects. We have episode 50 coming out soon, which is a 2-hour, 15-minute long banger about feminist philosophy and monster fucking. Yeah. My favorite moment was you all just assembling the astrolabe. Finally. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. You all are incredibly suspicious of each other, which is fair. But no, it is exciting for me to see you kind of literally putting the puzzle pieces together that I have kind of laid along the way. Again, thank you to the incredible people who play this game. Thank you to all of you for staying and watching. Thank you for donating to St. Jude. It means a lot to all of us. Definitely next week, check us out, same time slot for dinosaur racing, Tyrannosaur Race, which should be a lot of fun. And I think that's it. So, Eva, without you, we would not be here. Thank you so much for being who you are. Tell us about your lovely self.
Hi, it's me, Eva, who is not going to be too sorry to not have to don the weird hand eyes next time. Yes, this is my channel, full of amazing people who help me do amazing things, like raising money for St. Jude, like telling amazing stories that make us laugh, make us cry, make us wonder about space dogs. And I look forward to all the amazing adventures coming up. Derek already mentioned some of them. We have Vason coming beginning of June. We have a follow-up to Waterdeep Kitten Heist coming up, I believe, after that. And gosh, who knows what else? More Mothership. Gosh, help us all. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. My favorite part tonight was the captain being more I don't want to say sociable because like that was not her intent, but finally like stepping away from I always love the interactions between her and Proximus, but finally like interacting with the rest of us and providing an incredible lore drop with Acacia. Yep, so that's it for me. Gosh, I feel like I'm probably missing something important, but
City of Shadows
is back next week, Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Thank you for that.
Give your Lady Dimitrescu stream scheduled.
I do not have that scheduled. Probably sometime this week. Probably Wednesday. I don't know. I'll play video games. I might even play a Resident Evil game. I will not be playing Village because I don't have it and I haven't streamed any of the others yet.
So what I'm hearing is that we crowdfund for the game.
I don't know if...
Yes.
It's like tourist evil.
I'd chip in.
But you know what? I will send us over to Athena, who is playing Resident Evil 8 Village. 8? Did I say that? Is that right? How can that be right?
8. Like, I've never played a Resident Evil game, but I've been watching some people play it, and it seems really good.
Yeah.
Athena is also raising money for St. Jude, and they're doing an extend the stream.
Yep. So please go send your love to Athena, who's amazing. Also part of amazing Team Side Quest, many of whom are also raising for St. Jude, and also just amazing people doing amazing things while being amazing. Kaila, did you say and squint at your screen in a I should be concerned about something manner? Or...
No, I think it's $24 until the next extension.
Ho! You heard it, y'all.
Do it up.
All right.
Yeah.
We are out here
for the kids.
For the kids. Gaming does good. Love you all. We will see you next time. Have a good night.
Fair winds and following seas, brave mariners. See you in 3 weeks.